Chapter 787. Obviously, these paragons were not fools. They concentrated their firepower on Wang Mang and Ancestral Gregon. However, Wang Mang was unscathed. That was not normal at all. In comparison, Ancestral Gregon was more normal. He was injured under their attacks. Therefore, they determined the problem in just a few breaths. It was the difference between the Black Python and the Black Dragon. It was obvious that this Black Dragon was weaker. Therefore, when facing Wang Mang, they were helpless. Their thoughts were surprisingly the same. First, they should join forces to kill this Black Dragon. Kill the weak one, then find a way to kill the strong one. Pick the weak one. At the same time, after Ancestral Gregon heard the words of these paragons, he was completely dumbfounded. What the hell? He was weaker? He was weaker. Could it be that this group of geniuses were blind? How was he weaker than Wang Mang? In the past, he could suppress Wang Mang at any time. Now, in the eyes of these paragons, he was weaker. This was simply too insulting and not harmful at all. In an instant, Ancestral Gregon was even more furious. He swore to let this group of ants know how powerful he was. However, at this moment, the paragon's eyes were red as they roared. Slay the dragon. Slay this dragon first. We will think of a way to deal with the Black Python. Slay the dragon. Slay the dragon. Let's attack together and slay this Black Dragon first. In an instant, many paragons shouted, Slay the dragon. This also angered Ancestral Gregon. After letting out a dragon roar, he rushed towards the paragons in a frenzy. Seeing this scene, many paragons no longer held back and hurriedly used their divine abilities on Ancestral Gregon. Divine abilities that blotted out the sky and covered the earth swept towards the Ancestral Dragon like raindrops. Roar! Roar! A dragon roar sounded. Ancestral Gregon also charged forward bravely, although these ants could cause harm to him. However, they were not enough to threaten his life. Moreover, in his anger, he rushed towards the group of paragons. Bang! 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 In an instant, the deafening sound of divine abilities bombarding could be heard. The Ancestral Dragon, who had withstood so many divine powers, had his blood splattered all over the sky. His gigantic dragon body was covered in blood and injuries. Clearly, these divine abilities were not easy to resist. Even though his strength had reached the third sky of Emperor God Realm, if he did not block or evade, he would be in a miserable state. At the same time, Wang Mang also saw this scene. To be honest, Wang Mang almost laughed out loud. The group of Sky Prides could tell that the Ancestral Gregon was easier to bully. Otherwise, they wouldn't have gathered their firepower to kill the Ancestral Gregon first. However, this also created a better opportunity for Wang Mang to make his move. Wang Mang swayed his huge body and charged towards the group of Sky Prides. Seeing this, many Sky Prides scattered in panic. However, there were still two geniuses that Wang Mang managed to grab hold of. He didn't even have time to react before he was swallowed by Wang Mang. At the same time, the system's voice sounded again. Ding! Congratulations, host! Successfully devoured a peerless genius of the fifth heaven of Saint Emperor. Ding! Congratulations, host! Successfully gained 50 million energy points. Ding! Congratulations, host! Successfully gained 10 talent points. Ding! Congratulations, host! Successfully devoured a peerless genius of the fifth heaven of Saint Emperor. Ding! Congratulations, host! Successfully gained 50 million energy points. Ding! Congratulations, host! Successfully gained 10 talent points. After hearing the system's voice, Wang Mang was still unmoved. He once again swung his body crazily and charged towards the group of Sky Prides. He had only devoured 4 Sky Prides. This did not reach Wang Mang's goal. If possible, Wang Mang wanted to devour more Sky Prides. Unfortunately, facing Wang Mang's charge, these Sky Prides were helpless. Instead, they vented their anger on the Ancestral Gregon. This also led to the Ancestral Gregon had only devoured one peerless genius. However, Wang Mang had already devoured 4 sky prides. Although the ancestral Gragon saw all of this, however, most of them were helpless. He was very sullen and angry. At the same time, he was also envious of Wang Mang's divine ability. The level of one's battle prowess will be able to ignore any attacks of the same level. This divine ability might seem insignificant in front of those who were stronger than Wang Mang. However, when one's strength was the same as Wang Mang's, one could truly understand how heaven-defying this divine ability was. For example, in the current situation, Wang Mang could do whatever he wanted, but the ancestral Gragon was encountering obstacles everywhere. In comparison, the ancestral Gragon's sullenness and anger could be imagined. Of course, Wang Mang knew that the ancestral Gragon would be sullen, but he pretended not to know. He continued to charge towards this group of sky prides. Sometimes he would fail. However, after a few times, there would definitely be times when he succeeded. For example, after Wang Mang charged towards this group of sky prides for the 3rd time, he directly devoured 3 sky prides who could not dodge in time, accompanied by shrill screams. These 3 sky prides were completely devoured by Wang Mang and died. At the same time, the system's voice sounded again. Ding! Congratulations, host. Successfully devoured a 6th heaven of Holy Emperor, an unparalleled sky pride. Ding! Congratulations, host. Successfully gained 60 million energy points. Ding! Congratulations, host. Successfully gained 50 talent points. Ding! Congratulations, host. Successfully devoured a 7th heaven of Holy Emperor, an unparalleled sky pride. Ding! Congratulations, host. Successfully gained 70 million energy points. Ding! Congratulations, host. Successfully gained 10 talent points. Ding! Congratulations, host. Successfully devoured a 7th heaven of Holy Emperor, an unparalleled sky pride. Ding! Congratulations, host. Successfully gained 60 million energy points. Ding! Congratulations, host. Successfully gained 50 talent points. After hearing the system's voice, Wang Mang was completely excited. He felt that he had completely gone crazy from killing. Just the sky prides outside the city had provided him with an unimaginable amount of talent points. If he devoured all of them, Wang Mang felt that he could even reach legendary sky prides. After all, one unparalleled sky pride could provide him with 50 days of talent points. In fact, Wang Mang did not even dare to imagine how many sky prides there were in the city. However, Wang Mang did not need to guess to know that there were definitely more sky prides than the sky prides outside the city. Thinking of this, Wang Mang became even more excited. After killing these sky prides, he would enter the city. Wouldn't he go crazy from killing? Thinking of this, Wang Mang became even crazier. He swayed his huge body and opened his bloody mouth. He began to kill this group of sky prides in a frenzy. This also made this group of sky prides feel bitter. They did not know what had happened to Wang Mang that made him so crazy. He killed again and again, not giving them a chance to breathe at all. That was because the space sealed by the space barrier was not big to begin with. Therefore, no matter how they dodged, it was still difficult for them to escape from Wang Mang's killing. 30 minutes later, another few screams were heard. Many sky prides avoided Wang Mang's killing with lingering fear. They saw that another 3 sky prides had been devoured by Wang Mang. At the same time, the system's voice was heard continuously. Ding! Congratulations, host. Successfully devoured a sky pride of the 8th heaven. Ding! Congratulations, host. Successfully gained 80 million energy points. Ding! Congratulations, host. Successfully gained 10 points of talent points. Ding! Congratulations, host. Successfully devoured a sky pride of the 5th heaven. Ding! Congratulations, host. Successfully gained 50 million energy points. Ding! Congratulations, host. Successfully gained 50 points of talent points. Ding! Congratulations, host. Successfully devoured a sky pride of the 7th heaven. Ding! Congratulations, host. Successfully gained 70 million energy points. Ding! Congratulations, host. Successfully gained 10 points of talent points. Chapter 788. At the same time, at this moment, the elites in the city. Obviously, they had also sensed the commotion outside the city. Many geniuses in the city had gathered at the city gate. Then, many geniuses saw a scene that made them envious and enraged. They saw a giant dragon and a giant python in the space enchanted boundary, crazily pouncing on those elites. One by one, the elites fell into their bloody mouths. Among them, Wang Mang was the one who received the most attention. That was because Wang Mang was really killing too crazily. Just the prodigies in the city alone saw more than a dozen prodigies being swallowed into Wang Mang's bloody mouth. All of a sudden, the elites in the city started discussing. This guy really deserves to die. He killed so many elites when he just arrived. That's right. He killed all these elites and made us wait for so long in vain. These two guys really don't know what's good for them. How dare they snatch the meat from our mouths? Who's willing to go out and kill him? I'll give you 50 talent stones. I really can't stand it anymore. If you go out and kill them, we'll raise 100 talent stones for you. How about that? Huh? Are you King dreaming? If you leave the city, you'll lose the chance to conquer the universe. I only regret entering the city too early. If I stayed outside the city, these elites would all be my food. That's right. Back then, I didn't know anything and I didn't even know the rules. In the end, I entered the city in a daze. What's the use of regretting now? Now that you've entered the city, you won't have the chance to regret. Otherwise, you could have blocked the gate for a period of time and you'd definitely have a bountiful harvest. Obviously, many elites were very envious of Wang Mang blocking the gate and killing those elites. At the same time, they were also somewhat regretful that they entered the city too early. Otherwise, all these elites would be their food. Now that they saw Wang Mang and ancestral Gregon killing those elites, they couldn't help but be envious and jealous. At the same time, at this moment, Wang Mang, he was still killing elites in the space enchanted boundary. After so long, he had gone completely mad from the killing. This was also the first time he had killed a prodigy, and it was the first time he had killed one so happily. As for how much talent he had gained, to tell the truth, Wang Mang couldn't even remember it clearly. This was because every time he killed a genius, he would gain talent points. But how many geniuses had he killed? Wang Mang couldn't even remember. At this moment, Wang Mang successfully killed another 2 prodigies. The system's voice rang out. Ding! Congratulations, host. Successfully devoured a 6th heavenly layer Saint Emperor, a peerless genius. Ding! Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained 60 million energy points. Ding! Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained 10 points of talent. Ding! Congratulations, host. Successfully devoured a 5th heaven Saint Emperor, a peerless genius. Ding! Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained 50 million energy values. Ding! Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained 50 talent points. After listening to the system's voice, Wang Mang was still like a madman, preparing to continue killing those prodigies. Suddenly, Wang Mang heard ancestral Gregon's angry voice. Wang Mang, stop right there. You've King killed 21 prodigies. The rest are mine. Don't kill them. Hearing that, Wang Mang couldn't help but be slightly stunned. Then, he raised his head and looked at the remaining 13 prodigies in front of him. Yes, originally, there were almost 40 prodigies. Now, there were less than 13 prodigies left. In other words, he had already killed half of the prodigies. According to his agreement with ancestral Gregon, each of them would kill 19 prodigies. But he had killed 21 prodigies, which meant that he had also killed 2 of ancestral Gregon's prodigies. Of course, if it was someone else, it might be awkward. However, Wang Mang's eyes turned, and he said, duty-bound, Brother Ancestral Gregon, I'm really angry. These guys are too presumptuous. They don't take you seriously at all. Brother Ancestral Gragon, how dare they all attack you? Brother Ancestral Gragon, I'll help you kill all these prodigies and teach them a lesson. After saying that, Wang Mang began to kill the dozen or so prodigies again. Seeing this, Ancestral Gragon was furious and roared, "Stop it!" At the same time, Ancestral Gragon was even more furious. He stopped attacking those prodigies. Moreover, in a fit of rage, Ancestral Gragon directly attacked Wang Mang and spewed out a mouthful of dragon breath lava. In the next moment, something happened that made Ancestral Gragon even more furious and aggrieved. Rumble, accompanied by an earth-shattering sound. This terrifying dragon breath landed on Wang Mang's body, but it was completely ineffective. In fact, it only slowed down Wang Mang's speed of killing those prodigies. Obviously, the divine power attack that he cast with all his might posed no threat to Wang Mang at all. More importantly, even though Ancestral Gragon attacked Wang Mang still pretended to be dumb. This immediately made Ancestral Gragon fly into a rage. He had never seen such a shameless person. At this moment, another scream was heard. Another prodigy instantly died in Wang Mang's bloody mouth. Seeing this, Ancestral Gragon completely panicked and roared, "No, no, Wang Mang, you better stop right there." While speaking, Ancestral Gragon also began to kill those prodigies in a frenzy. A few hours later, in enchantment, the dozen or so prodigies also died tragically. However, in the end, a total of 4 prodigies fell into Wang Mang's mouth. In other words, Wang Mang devoured a total of 26 prodigies. There were only 38 prodigies in total, but Wang Mang killed 26 of them. There were only 12 prodigies in Ancestral Gragon's mouth. Of course, compared to the furious Ancestral Gragon, Wang Mang, on the other hand, transformed back into his human form in satisfaction. He looked like he had more to do, which made Ancestral Gragon even more furious. Wang Mang naturally saw the furious Ancestral Gragon. Wang Mang asked with a puzzled expression, "Brother Ancestral Gragon, what's wrong with you?" Ancestral Gragon said with a ferocious expression, "What's wrong? 38 prodigies. I only ate 12 prodigies. You still F Astra's King asked me what's wrong? Are you still pretending to be dumb with me?" Hearing this, Wang Mang said helplessly, "Brother Ancestral Gragon, you can't blame me for this. I didn't count how many prodigies I killed. Besides, these ants actually concentrated their firepower on you. I couldn't stand it anymore, so I couldn't help but attack. After all, we are brothers. I can't just watch my brothers get bullied, right?" Chapter 789. Hearing Wang Mang's shameless words, even Ancestral Gragon laughed out of anger. How could he say such a shameless thing in such a righteous manner? It could be said that he had experienced Wang Mang's shamelessness. After a sneer, Ancestral Gragon's face was very gloomy. After a long time, he said coldly, after a long while, he said coldly, "Take care of yourself. If you dare to do this again, we will go our separate ways." Hearing that, Wang Mang said with disappointment, "Brother Ancestral Gragon, you really disappoint me. I treat you like a brother, but you treat me like this. Didn't I just help you kill a few prodigies? A few prodigies are enough for you to fall out with me?" Ancestral Gragon roared angrily. "What do you mean by a few prodigies? You've killed twice as many prodigies as I have. How many prodigies have you snatched from me? Don't you have any idea?" Wang Mang laughed and said helplessly, Okay, I know. Just take it as my apology to you." After Wang Mang said that, Ancestral Gragon finally felt much better. Then Ancestral Gragon said coldly, "I'm going to find a place to digest what I've gained this time. I think you're also going to digest what you've gained, right? When the time comes, the two of us can just gather here." After that, Ancestral Gragon flew towards the barren forest in the distance. That was because there were only 100 million roads leading to the city on this road. The rest of the roads were all ruins and endless wilderness. Seeing that, Wang Mang was stunned at first. Then he also prepared to fly in the other direction to find a place to digest what he had gained. But at that moment, a voice sounded, "Fellow cultivator, remember not to stray too far from this road in the city. The further you go, the more dangerous it is. Prodigies often die in unknown corners." Hearing that, Wang Mang was stunned and looked at the prodigy in surprise. This young prodigy was none other than the young prodigy who had conversed with Wang Mang at the inn. Wang Mang let him go because of that. Other than him, there was also the innkeeper and a few waiters. Wang Mang, an ancestral Gregon, didn't kill them either. Similarly, the young prodigy had warned Wang Mang out of goodwill because Wang Mang hadn't attacked him. Hearing this, Wang Mang pondered for a moment, then nodded and smiled. "How should I address you, fellow Taoist?" The young heaven's favorite was stunned for a moment. Then he chuckled and said, "Duan Lang." Wang Mang nodded slightly, then flew towards the forest in the distance. Half an hour later, in the end, Wang Mang finally found a hidden cave in the forest. Wang Mang immediately prepared to enter, but he suddenly felt a spatial enchantment near the cave. This caused Wang Mang to be stunned at first. Then he asked in surprise and puzzlement, "Could there be someone inside?" Hearing this, Wang Mang raised his hand and struck the cave barrier with all his might. Rumble! Under Wang Mang's terrifying full-force palm strike, Li Qiye was stunned. It didn't break the enchantment? This immediately made Wang Mang even more surprised. Damn it! Could there really be someone inside? Or a secret realm? Thinking of this, Wang Mang began to attack the enchantment with all his might. This enchantment wasn't too strong for Wang Mang. As long as he tried his best, he should be able to break it in a few minutes. But what Wang Mang didn't know was that there was a young heaven's favorite cultivating in seclusion in the cave. Moreover, he was at the critical moment of breaking through to the next realm. But after Wang Mang bombarded the spatial enchantment, the young heaven's favorite who was in seclusion with his eyes closed began to look pale. Obviously, even in the state of seclusion, he could feel that someone was bombarding the enchantment. Therefore, he began to break through to the next realm with all his might, and the terrifying power of the law began to fluctuate. Obviously, he wanted to break through to the next realm at once and advance further. At the same time, he swore that after breaking through to the next realm, he would tear this guy who was harassing him into pieces. But at this moment, a loud noise was heard. Rumble! Under the bombardment of Wang Mang's terrifying palm of the law, the enchantment was broken. Finally, the enchantment couldn't bear the burden and was blasted open. Bang! The terrifying aftershock swept through the entire cave. This also made the young heaven's favorite who was in seclusion turn as pale as snow. Splurt! A mouthful of blood was spat out from the young heaven's favorite's mouth. He opened his eyes with a ferocious expression and roared into the sky. "Who is it? At the critical moment of my breakthrough, you caused me to fail on the verge of success. I don't care who you are. I'll tear you to shreds." At the same time, the young heaven's favorite slapped the ground and rushed out of the cave. In the next moment, the young heaven's favorite who rushed out of the cave saw that there was no one outside. This immediately made the young heaven's favorite completely dumbfounded. He didn't expect that the guy who was harassing him to break through to the next realm would run away so quickly. But he was still able to find the direction Wang Mang escaped in from the aura left behind in the vicinity. This heaven's favorite couldn't wait to kill the guy who caused him to fail in his breakthrough. But in order to stabilize the after effects of failing to break through to the next realm, he could only resist the urge to chase after Wang Mang. Then, the young heaven's favorite set up the enchantment again and went back into the cave. At the same time, on the other hand, in the barren forest, Wang Mang was looking for a new cave. This was because after he blasted open the enchantment previously, he immediately felt it. The heaven's favorite who was in seclusion inside had already reached the fourth heaven of the Emperor God realm. Therefore, Wang Mang chose to leave without hesitation. Fortunately, he left quickly. Otherwise, that guy would definitely not let him go so easily. After all, Wang Mang also knew that he caused the other party to fail in breaking through to the next realm. This kind of enmity was even greater than the hatred of killing one's father. Wang Mang admitted that if someone else destroyed his chance of breaking through to the next realm, then Wang Mang would definitely not let that guy go. Of course, Wang Mang didn't feel guilty. After all, this guy's strength was too strong. It was not bad to disturb his breakthrough. Otherwise, once this guy broke through to the fifth heaven of the Emperor God realm, he was also a threat to him. Moreover, Wang Mang still decided to wait until he broke through to the next realm. He would continue to block the city gate with ancestral Gragon and continue to hunt heaven's favorites. Half an hour later, Wang Mang finally found another hidden cave. Moreover, there was no one in this cave. Therefore, Wang Mang couldn't wait to go in. After entering the cave, Wang Mang also set up an enchantment. Then, Wang Mang couldn't wait to sit cross-legged in the cave and said in his heart, "System, open my personal information," because Wang Mang also wanted to see how much energy had he accumulated now. Of course, the most important thing was his talent. The next moment, his personal information appeared in front of him. Wang Mang, disciple of the sage-to-be, ancestor Wanma, type, ancient demonic python, limit 800 meters, realm, sixth heaven of the Emperor God realm, peerless genius, physique, HP 26,000, length 720 meters, width 35 meters, weight 110 million tons. Top divine ability, ancient demon tyrant body, perfection. Devour God mantra, perfection. 3 lives supreme Buddha, perfection. Wrath of the demon god, perfection. Space, 1 bottle of forgotten love water, 1 Saint Falling pill, 1 6-flavor emperor pill, meteor god cannon, immortal king treasure chest X1, immortal king blind box X1. Equipment, top world multicolored stone X1, divine martial sword, immortal emperor mask, saint emperor mask, talent 710. Energy, 27. 1 billion/60 billion. Chapter 790. After reading his personal information, Wang Mang was over the moon. He did not expect to obtain so many talent points. He had obtained a total of 600 talent points. This was definitely the most talent points that Wang Mang had ever obtained in his entire life. This was enough for him to easily level up and become an unparalleled paragon. Moreover, even if he leveled up to become an unparalleled paragon, he still had a lot of talent points left. Other than that, his energy points had also accumulated to 27 billion. If his luck was good, there was still a slight chance of successfully breaking through with the 2 treasure chests. At the thought of this, Wang Mang was instantly in a good mood. Then, he silently said in his heart, "System, open the immortal king-level treasure chest." The next moment, the system's voice sounded frowny-faced ding. "Congratulations, host. Successfully opened the immortal king-level treasure chest." Ding. "Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained 2 billion energy points." Ding. "Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained 900 million energy points." Ding. "Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained 450 million energy points." Ding. "Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained 550 million energy points." Ding. "Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained G. Gong's leg stretching pill." Ding. "Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained a dress of the ancestor emperor." Ding. "Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained a one-time top-notch rank 5 bad luck card." Note, a one-time top-notch rank 5 bad luck card. Once used, if the target's ability does not exceed rank 6, they will fall into an extremely unlucky state for 24 hours. If light, they will be seriously injured. If heavy, they will be in danger of dying. Ding. "Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained a one-time top-notch rank 5 good luck card." Note, a one-time top-notch rank 5 bad luck card. Once used, if the target's ability does not exceed rank 6, they will fall into an extremely unlucky state for 24 hours. If light, they will be lucky. If heavy, they will be blessed with good luck. After listening to the system's voice, Wang Mang was completely stunned. He even felt a little incredulous. That was because this Celestial King grade treasure chest was too powerful. It could be said that this was the most powerful Celestial King grade treasure chest in history. Thinking of this, Wang Mang almost couldn't hold back his tears. The immortal King grade treasure chest that he had cheated for so long finally exploded. Moreover, he was given a top-notch stage 5 bad luck card and good luck card. If he were to open a Celestial King grade blind box, he would use a top-notch tier 5 good luck card. Needless to say, the Celestial King grade blind boxes would definitely explode, and all of them would definitely be good stuff. Wang Mang had no doubts about this. This was because this was a top-notch stage 5 good luck card. The good luck cards that he had obtained in the past had no grade. However, the good luck card and bad luck card that were open this time were both top-notch stage 5. With this thought, Wang Mang fell into a dilemma. Should he use the tier 5 single-use good luck card? If he didn't use it, Wang Mang really didn't have the confidence that he would be able to obtain enough energy to evolve in the following Celestial King grade blind boxes. After all, the amount of energy he had accumulated was only 40 billion energy points. He was still 20 billion energy points away from evolving. However, the Celestial King grade blind boxes in the past were indeed very powerful. However, he couldn't open the possibility of 20 billion energy points. After taking a deep breath, Wang Mang finally decided to use it. After all, he was now on the path of conquering the heavens and realms. The stronger his strength increased, the safer it would be, and the more prodigies he could hunt down. He would always be strong. Thinking of this, Wang Mang silently said in his heart, "System, use a top-notch stage 5 good luck card. Use target, Wang Mang." The next moment, the system's voice sounded frowny-faced ding. "Congratulations, host. Successfully used a top-notch stage 5 good luck card." Ding. Review prompt. Half an hour later, the host will enter a state of extreme luck for 24 hours. After hearing the system's voice, Wang Mang nodded in satisfaction. Then, Wang Mang waited for an hour. Wang Mang then silently said in his heart, "System, open the Celestial King grade blind box." The next moment, the system's voice sounded frowny-faced ding. "Congratulations, host. Successfully opened the Celestial King grade blind box." Ding. "Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained 10 billion energy points." F***CK. Was this the effect of a top-notch stage 5 good luck card? After hearing the system's first lottery draw, Wang Mang was completely dumbfounded. He thought that if he used the top-notch good luck card, the Celestial King grade blind box would definitely be very powerful. However, he didn't expect that the first lottery draw would be so successful. In fact, Wang Mang even suspected that if he used the top-notch good luck card, and Celestial King grade blind box might be enough for him to evolve. Thinking of this, Wang Mang couldn't help but sigh with emotion. At the same time, Wang Mang also began to look forward to the next lottery draw. A minute later, the system's voice sounded for the second time, frowny-faced ding. "Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained 15 billion energy points." After hearing the system's second lottery draw, Wang Mang was elated again. Not bad, not bad. Every lottery draw was really more awesome than the previous one. In an instant, Wang Mang had enough evolution points. He would even have 5 billion energy points left after evolution. Moreover, the next lottery draw. Wang Mang was certain of this with confidence. It would definitely not disappoint him. True enough, another minute later, the system's voice sounded for the third time, frowny-faced ding. "Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained 20 billion energy points." After hearing the system's voice, Wang Mang was simply thrilled. Indeed, there were more and more prizes every time. If things continued like this, then Wang Mang simply couldn't imagine how much energy points he would get. At the same time, Wang Mang also understood a problem. This top-notch stage 5 good luck card was indeed a good thing. At the thought of this, Wang Mang secretly made up his mind. If there was a chance, he would definitely accumulate more top-notch stage 5 good luck cards. This thing could be used to open the blind box treasure chest or anything else. As for the one-off top-notch stage 5 bad luck card, Wang Mang had used this thing several times. This thing was a good trump card to attack the enemy. At this moment, the system's voice sounded for the 4th time, frowny face ding. Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained 25 billion. Awesome. Awesome. The system was really awesome. This was a top-notch stage 5 good luck card. It indeed lived up to its reputation. Currently, Wang Mang's accumulated energy points had already reached 110 billion. What did this mean? Even after Wang Mang evolved, he still had 50 billion energy points left. For a moment, Wang Mang was extremely excited. Could it be that this was an Immortal King level blind box? It could give him enough energy points to evolve twice in a row. At the thought of this, Wang Mang was looking forward to the next lottery draw. Another minute later, the system's voice sounded for the 5th time, frowny face ding. Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained 3. Chapter 791. The system's voice sounded for the 5th time, frowny face ding. Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained 30 billion hell coins. After listening to the system's voice, Wang Mang was instantly disappointed. He thought that the Immortal King level blind box would continue to go against the world. In the end, it gave him 30 billion hell coins. He didn't need this thing. Fortunately, Wang Mang was mentally prepared. Even if he used a top-notch 5th stage good luck card, it was impossible for all of them to give heaven-defying energy values. Therefore, Wang Mang quickly adjusted his mentality. Then, he began to look forward to the next prize. A minute later, the system's voice sounded for the 6th time, frowny face ding. Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained 10 talent points. What the F***CK? This is way too little. Even if it's just talent points, it should be more. System, continue to go against the world for me. I still want to evolve twice. At this moment, the system's voice sounded for the 7th time, frowny face ding. Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained 30 talent points. Damn, this was too much of a scam. Wang Mang was a little speechless. He still wanted to rely on an Immortal King level blind box to activate the energy values for 2 evolutions. In the end, it didn't give him any energy values. And this was with the blessing of the top-notch 5th stage good luck card. This made Wang Mang somewhat helpless. Just as Wang Mang was feeling depressed, the system's voice sounded for the 8th time, frowny face ding. Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained 50 talent points. After listening to the system's announcement, Wang Mang suddenly felt very regretful. But he knew that this Immortal King level blind box was already very impressive. After all, this Immortal King level blind box gave him 70 billion energy values. But just as Wang Mang thought that the announcement was over, the system's voice sounded for the 9th time, frowny face ding. Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained 10 billion energy values. After hearing this voice, Wang Mang was first stunned, then he couldn't help but laugh. This was because this Celestial King Gray Blind Box had opened a total of 9 times. This was probably the blessing of a Tier 5 single-use good luck card. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to draw 9 times. Furthermore, he was given 80 billion energy values. What else could Wang Mang say? He could only say that the system was awesome. This put Wang Mang in a good mood. This was because the energy value he currently possessed had reached 120 billion. The next evolution would definitely be a breeze. With that thought, Wang Mang said happily, "System, begin the evolution." The next moment, the system's voice sounded again. Ding! Successfully deducted 60 billion energy values. Evolution is in progress. After that, Wang Mang completely lost consciousness in the midst of his evolution. However, what Wang Mang didn't know was that, during the few days he was evolving, this was because he had disturbed a young genius who had failed to break through and had a grudge against him. Instead, through the mixed aura that he and Ancestral Graygon often interacted with day and night, this tyrannical young genius had instead found Ancestral Graygon. At this moment, Ancestral Graygon was recovering his cultivation in seclusion. He had finally recovered his cultivation of the first heavenly layer. This was because he had swallowed more than 10 former tyrannical geniuses, and the essence of these geniuses was enough for him to recover some of his vitality. Therefore, after some adjustment, he successfully recovered to the 6th heavenly layer of Saint Emperor with the help of this huge and pure power of laws. After recovering his cultivation of the 1st heavenly layer, Ancestral Gragon was in a very good mood. He slowly stood up and was about to move his body. Suddenly, rumble, a loud explosion took place. Then, the space enchantment that he had set up during his seclusion was shattered. The terrifying remaining aura swept through the entire cave. This made Ancestral Gragon stunned at first. Then he was both shocked and angry, because if he was still recovering his cultivation just now, at the critical moment, he would definitely fail on the verge of success. Who? How dare you disturb my seclusion? In a rage, Ancestral Gragon rushed out of his seclusion. Then he saw a young genius in green robes standing proudly in the air with his arms crossed. This young genius in green robes was looking at him coldly, and his aura was still suppressing him. After sensing that this young genius's aura was between the 4th and 5th heavenly layer of Divine Emperor, even Ancestral Gragon could not help but be shocked. Therefore, this young genius's strength was not weaker than his in the past. Thinking of this, Ancestral Gragon suppressed his anger and said coldly, "Fellow cultivator, you disturbed my seclusion when I was in seclusion. Are you trying to form an irreconcilable feud with me?" Hearing this, Duan Tiana laughed out of anger, and his face was distorted. "When I was in seclusion, you destroyed my space enchantment and caused me to fail. Now you're asking me if I want to form an irreconcilable feud with you? What a joke. Although it's a pity that I couldn't disturb your breakthrough, I still want to seek justice from you." After saying that, Duan Tianya's face was filled with murderous intent. He formed a seal with both hands, and a terrifying divine ability was formed. Moreover, he went all out from the start, and it could be said that he was going to kill Ancestral Gragon, fingers shattering mountains and rivers. At the same time, a terrifying sword finger, great divine ability, whizzed through the air. Seeing this, Ancestral Gragon was completely dumbfounded. What the F***CK? He was clearly disturbed when he was in seclusion. Why did he become the victim instead? When did he disturb this guy's seclusion? He was even better at lying than Wang Mang. He was simply sitting at home, but the trouble came from the heavens. It was an unexpected disaster. This was simply going too far. This was intolerable. In his anger, Ancestral Gragon was also enraged. He roared, "You're too much. Do you really think I'm afraid of you?" Then, he did not waste any more time and immediately attacked with all his might, fighting fiercely with this young genius. Although his opponent's battle strength was between the 4th and 5th heavenly layer of Divine Emperor, Ancestral Gragon was not someone to be trifled with. He was once at his peak. Who does this guy think he is? For a moment, the two of them were really angry, and they could not wait to kill each other. But the difference in strength between the two of them was not big. Therefore, the battle became more and more intense, but it was difficult to determine the winner. However, the surrounding barren forest and ruins were in a mess from the aftermath of the fierce battle between the two of them. At the same time, when the two of them were fighting fiercely, at this moment, in a cave in a barren forest, as the culprit, Wang Mang, he had no idea about this matter. After waking up from the evolution, Wang Mang slowly opened his eyes. Terrifying law of the Tao overflowed from his body. Even Wang Mang's body was flowing with the power of law of Tao. Is this the battle strength of a 4th heavenly layer of Divine Emperor? It's still 3 times stronger than a 3rd heavenly layer of Divine Emperor. In other words, a 4th heavenly layer of Divine Emperor can actually kill a 3rd heavenly layer of Divine Emperor. Wang Mang, who felt the powerful power of law in his body, could not help but mutter to himself. That was because under this terrifying power, there was no one who could resist it. Wang Mang felt unprecedentedly strong. If combined with the ancient demon overlord body, he wanted to kill a 4th heavenly layer of Divine Emperor. It would be as easy as cutting melons and vegetables. Thinking of this, Wang Mang could not help but be in high spirits, because he seemed to have seen the scene of him punching a legendary genius and stepping on a legendary genius. Chapter 792. After all, his battle power had already reached the fourth heaven of the Emperor God realm. Moreover, he wasn't far from breaking through to the next level. Once he broke through again, his battle power would reach the fifth heaven of the Emperor God realm. When he became a legendary genius, his battle power would reach the sixth heaven of the Emperor God realm. Wang Mang did not doubt that if he continued to conquer the path of myriad realms, if he continued to fight, he might really become a supreme being. In the past, Wang Mang did not even dream of becoming a supreme being. He had indeed fantasized about it, but he knew himself well. But now, it seemed that he really had a glimmer of hope. After all, he had broken through to become a peerless genius. He still had 500 days of talent left. He still had so many talent points left. It could make him a legendary genius. With that thought, Wang Mang could be said to be in high spirits. Then, Wang Mang said without hesitation, "System, use the talent points. Advance to become a peerless genius." The next moment, the system's voice sounded frowny-faced ding. 150 days of talent points have been successfully deducted. Ding. Congratulations to the host. Become a peerless genius. As soon as the voice sounded, Wang Mang could feel a mysterious power entering his body. Under the cover of this power, Wang Mang's body was full of holiness. Moreover, this power was very gentle, as if it was bathing him in the sun. After a long time, after the mysterious white light disappeared, Wang Mang felt very comfortable. Then, Wang Mang said in his heart again, "System, use the talent points. Become a legendary genius." The next moment, the system's voice sounded again, frowny-faced ding. 300 points of talent points have been successfully deducted. Ding. Congratulations to the host. Become a legendary genius. As soon as the voice sounded, a terrifying power descended from the sky and instantly rushed into Wang Mang's head, enveloping him again. Under this huge white power of the law of the Tao, Wang Mang was like an angel from heaven. At the same time, Wang Mang's aura began to rise, and finally, his battle power reached the fifth heaven of the Emperor God realm. After the white light disappeared, Wang Mang couldn't help but let out a wild howl as he abruptly opened his sharp eyes. The power of the law of lightning flowed through Wang Mang's eyes. At the same time, Wang Mang's aura stabilized at the fifth heaven of the Emperor God realm. Is this the legendary genius? Wang Mang looked at himself and couldn't help but feel excited. He could feel that he was 3 times stronger than a fourth sky god emperor with just a wave of his hand. With this terrifying energy in his body, he could kill third heaven god emperors with a flip of his hand. Thinking of this, Wang Mang couldn't help but get excited. This was too F*King simple. I'm already a legendary prodigy. He felt that it would not be difficult to become a legend of heaven. Thinking of this, Wang Mang couldn't help but mutter to himself excitedly. Right at this moment, the system's voice then sounded frowny-faced ding. Gentle reminder, the host has reached the legendary level. The method of obtaining talent points has changed. Ding. The host can now devour a peerless genius and gain 0.5 talent points. Ding. The host can now devour a peerless genius and gain 1 talent points. Ding. The host can now devour a peerless genius and gain 2 talent points. Ding. The host can now devour a legendary prodigy and gain 10 talent points. Ding. The host can now devour a legendary prodigy and gain 1 talent points. Ding. The host can now devour a supreme prodigy and gain 1 talent points. After listening to the system's voice, Wang Mang was completely dumbfounded. What the F*CK? What the F*CK? What was going on? System, you're not targeting me, are you? Why after becoming a legendary prodigy, the amount of talent points obtained would change? For a moment, Wang Mang was furious. He didn't expect that after becoming a legendary prodigy, the change in the amount of talent points obtained would be so huge. The next moment, the system's voice sounded again, frowny-faced ding. Gentle reminder to the host. When the prodigies become legendary prodigies. Ding. The talent points obtained by all prodigies hunting low-level prodigies will be greatly reduced. Ding. It's not just for the host alone, but for all legendary prodigies. After listening to the system's explanation, Wang Meng immediately regretted it. If he had known earlier, he wouldn't have broken through to legendary prodigy. This way, he could have accumulated talent points first. But now he couldn't accumulate talent points at all, because even if he hunted legendary prodigies, he could only gain 10 talent points. This was simply abnormally harsh. But before he broke through, the energy points obtained from hunting prodigies were not small. Thinking of this, Wang Meng wanted to slap himself a few times. However, since things had already developed to this point, even though Wang Meng felt helpless, he had nothing to say. If nothing unexpected happened, he would probably stay as a legendary prodigy for a long time. But at this moment, Wang Meng finally understood why even the strongest prodigy hunter, such a powerful existence, they had always been stuck at the legendary prodigy level, because they couldn't accumulate talent points at all. Because of the system, Wang Meng could still accumulate talent points in the early stages. But after he became a legendary prodigy, he couldn't continue to accumulate talent points. But thinking that he still had 350 days left, Wang Meng's mood finally improved a lot. In other words, he wanted to become a legendary prodigy. He still needed 1,150 days of talent points. Even if he hunted legendary prodigies, he had to hunt a total of 115 of them. This was enough for him to break through to the legendary prodigy level. After being depressed for a long time, Wang Meng muttered in his heart, "System, open my personal information," because he wanted to see how much energy points he would need to break through next time. The next moment, personal information appeared in front of his eyes. Wang Meng, Sage to Be's disciple, Wan Ma ancestor. Type, ancient fiendish python. Limit 800 meters. Realm, seventh heaven of Holy Emperor, legendary prodigy. Body shape, HP 27,000, length 730 meters, width 36 meters, weight 120 million tons. Top supernatural power, ancient demon tyrant body, perfection, swallowing spirit, devouring technique, perfection. 3 lives supreme Buddha, mastery, wrath of the gods and devils, perfection. Space, 1 bottle of Wanqing water, 1 falling saint pill, 1 6 flavor emperor pill, 1 falling god cannon, 1 one-time top rank 5 bad luck card. Equipment, top world multicolored stone X1, divine martial sword, immortal emperor mask, holy emperor mask, talent points, 350/1500. Energy points, 60 billion/100 billion. After reading his personal information, Wang Meng's expression eased slightly. Fortunately, this was the energy points needed for evolution. It didn't increase too much. Otherwise, Wang Meng would really cry to death. Just as Wang Meng was feeling depressed, the system's voice sounded again, frowny-facing. The host's current situation has been detected. The host is given the following mission to choose from. Mission 1. Choose to do as you wish and continue to stay outside the city. After increasing your strength by 1 more level, enter the city again. Mission time. Obtained upon completion. Mission reward. 10 billion energy points. Immortal King level blind box X1. Immortal King level treasure chest X1. Mission 2. Choose to develop wretchedly and stay outside the city for a long time. After becoming a legendary prodigy, enter the city again. Mission time. Obtained upon completion. Mission reward. 100 billion energy points. Immortal King level blind box X2. Immortal King level treasure chest X2. Mission 3. Kill your way through and be invincible in the world. Become a supreme being who suppresses rank 5 for an era. Mission time. Obtained upon completion. Mission reward. Free evolution opportunity X3. Immortal Emperor level treasure chest X2. Immortal Emperor level blind box X1. Chapter 793. After hearing the system's voice, Wang Mang was stunned at first, but he didn't feel too surprised. Every time his strength increased greatly, the system would always give him missions. This time was no exception. But what made Wang Mang a little speechless was that the difficulty of each mission could be said to be different. The first mission had a good reward, and there was basically no difficulty. It was completely up to him. This was worth considering. The second mission was to intercept the prodigies outside the city and become a legendary prodigy. The difficulty of this mission could be said to be very high, although Wang Mang still had 350 days of qualifications. But to become a legendary prodigy, he needed 1,500 days of qualifications. Even if he wanted to kill a legendary prodigy, he needed to kill 115 of them, more than 100 legendary prodigies. Where could Wang Mang go to kill so many? Thinking of this, Wang Mang also felt a little helpless. Metaphorically speaking, in the last wave of prodigies, Wang Mang and Ancestral Gregon didn't kill any legendary prodigies at all. Most of the prodigies were peerless prodigies or unparalleled prodigies. Basically, there were very few legendary prodigies. Because of this, if he really wanted to rely on blocking the city to kill prodigies and become a legendary prodigy, then obviously it would be a very long mission. Of course, compared to the second mission, the third mission was as difficult as ascending to the sky. He directly killed his way to become a supreme being. Who knew when he could become a supreme being? After all, for the current Wang Mang, even becoming a legendary prodigy was very far away. Not to mention becoming a supreme prodigy. Thinking of this, Wang Mang almost ruled out the third mission, because the third mission period was too long. Who knew how long it would take? As for the second mission, although Wang Mang was tempted, but he felt that it would take too much time, because there would be prodigies coming in one after another outside the city. But the prodigies outside the city obviously couldn't be compared to those inside the city. Thinking of this, Wang Mang made a decision in his heart. He silently said, "System, I choose the first mission." The next moment, the system's voice also sounded. "Ding! Congratulations, host. You have successfully chosen the mission. Please complete the mission quickly to get the reward." After hearing the system's voice, only then did Wang Mang happily stand up and walk out of the cave. After that, Wang Mang soared into the sky and flew towards the middle of the city. After flying over the barren forest, Wang Mang arrived at the city gate. What surprised Wang Mang was that, at this moment, there were more than 10 prodigies outside the inn at the city gate. The dozen or so sky prides were all exceptional sky prides and peerless sky prides. Moreover, the strongest was merely a third heaven god emperor. The weakest among them was only a sixth heavenly layer saint emperor. This made Wang Mang speechless. He really couldn't understand. Why would someone with the battle prowess of a sixth heavenly layer saint emperor have the guts to participate in the war? In other words, it was very likely that this person was only an early saint emperor. It had to be said that this fellow was indeed quite daring. If Wang Mang only had this level of strength, he definitely wouldn't dare to conquer the myriad worlds with this level of strength. As his eyes flickered, Wang Mang's killing intent surged. Although the number of sky prides was small, to Wang Mang, mosquitoes were meat no matter how small they were. If he waited for the ancestral Gregon to come, this bastard would definitely attack without hesitation. After taking a deep breath, Wang Mang walked over with a smile on his face. At the same time, many sky prides in the inn looked at Wang Mang in surprise. There was arrogance, fear, and disdain in their eyes. Obviously, even though Wang Mang's battle prowess had reached the fifth heaven god emperor, he still couldn't convince these sky prides or make them bow down to him. If they were so easily frightened, they wouldn't have participated in the conquest of the myriad worlds. Wang Mang wasn't surprised at all. On the contrary, 2 of the sky prides seemed to have heard the inn owner's words and quickly ran into the city. Seeing this, Wang Mang's face darkened and he looked at the inn owner coldly. Seeing this, the inn owner shrugged indifferently. Obviously, he didn't take Wang Mang seriously. He wasn't like these sky prides who didn't dare to enter the city for the time being. He had the support of a peak emperor god legend in the city. So what if Wang Mang doesn't like him when he looks at you? Why don't you dare touch him? After thinking for a while, the young and owner reminded Wang Mang loudly in front of him. Fellow sky prides, be careful. If there's nothing else, enter the city now. Many sky prides who didn't dare to enter the city like you last time were killed by him. Following the young and owner's reminder, many of the sky prides who didn't take Wang Mang seriously changed their faces. Then, many sky prides saw Wang Mang's gloomy expression and immediately chose to enter the city quickly. In the blink of an eye, another 5 to 6 sky prides flew into the city quickly. Seeing this, Wang Mang was so angry that he laughed. This guy really thinks that I don't dare to kill him. Thinking of this, Wang Mang immediately waved his hand and set up a barrier around them. The geniuses who were initially hesitating began to panic. Seeing this, Wang Mang's expression was calm and indifferent. If all of you kill the owner and the waiter, I'll let all of you go. Otherwise, don't blame me for being ruthless and killing all of you. Saying this, Wang Mang's face was filled with killing intent. This caused many of the geniuses' expressions to change drastically. Their faces were filled with shock and anger, because they didn't expect the owner to be telling the truth. Wang Mang obviously had some ideas about these sky prides. However, Wang Mang's words caused the prodigies present to hesitate. They were somewhat tempted to make a move. That was because they were the most powerful among all the sky prides. There was only one peerless genius whose battle prowess had reached the 3rd sky of Emperor God realm. This kind of strength was not worth mentioning in front of Wang Mang, who had reached the 5th sky of the Emperor God realm. Seeing the sky pride's eyes filled with killing intent, the young and owner and the waiter changed their faces. Among them, the young and owner roared angrily and warned, "Don't you dare touch me. Behind me, there is a legendary sky pride whose battle strength has reached the peak of the Emperor God realm. If you dare to kill me, you will definitely die even if you enter the city." After saying this, the young and owner turned to look at Wang Mang with a gloomy face and threatened, "Boy, don't think that you're invincible just because your battle strength has reached the 5th sky of the Emperor God realm. You want to instigate these guys to kill me? Try touching me if you dare." Chapter 794. Hearing that, Wang Mang was so angry that he laughed. This bastard really couldn't see the situation clearly. If this guy didn't interfere with his business, Wang Mang was worried about the peak Emperor God level legendary prodigy behind him, so it was understandable for him to spare his life. But did this guy really think that Wang Mang would be afraid of a peak Emperor God level legendary prodigy in the city? If that was what this guy was thinking, Wang Mang could only say that this guy was too naive. In his rage, Wang Mang didn't know what he would do. Thus, as he looked at the incomparably arrogant and savage owner, Wang Mang laughed nastily and said, "Fine, fine, fine. Do you really think I'm afraid of you?" After saying that, Wang Mang looked at the 5 prodigies in the inn and said coldly, "Why aren't you guys making a move yet? If you wait for me to make a move, you can all die together with him." Unfortunately, in the face of Wang Mang's threat, these prodigies were still hesitant. Some of the prodigies couldn't help but speak with a sullen face. "Fellow cultivator, we have no quarrel with you. Why do you have to force us?" "That's right. Fellow cultivator, Wang Mang didn't provoke you. Why do you have to make a move on us?" "Fellow cultivator, don't go too far. We'll meet again in the future. You may have the upper hand now, but it doesn't mean you'll always have the upper hand." After hearing these prodigies' words, Wang Mang immediately laughed coldly. His figure flashed and instantly disappeared. When Wang Mang reappeared, he was already behind the prodigy who had spoken vaguely to him. Then, this prodigy had just reacted and didn't have time to dodge. Wang Mang raised his hand and blasted his head. Soon after, Wang Mang's upper body transformed into a huge snake and swallowed it into its bloody maw. Then, the system's voice sounded. "Ding! Congratulations, host! Successfully devoured a 7th heaven of Holy Emperor. Unparalleled prodigy. Ding! Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained 70 million energy points. Ding. Congratulations, host. Successfully gained 2 talent points. At the same time, the other heaven's favorites saw this and were extremely shocked. Their faces were full of fear. But just as they were about to flee the city, however, he discovered that he couldn't break the barrier at all, especially those geniuses whose fighting power had yet to reach the Emperor God level. Under the pressure of Wang Mang's terrifying aura, he couldn't move at all. Therefore, Wang Mang took a few breaths. Then, it devoured the other heavens chosen. The system's voice rang out. Ding! Congratulations, host! Successfully devoured a 5th heaven of Saint Emperor, a peerless genius. Ding! Congratulations, host! Successfully obtained 50 million energy values. Ding! Congratulations, host! Successfully obtained 1 talent point. Ding! Congratulations, host! Successfully devoured a 2nd sky of Saint Emperor, a peerless genius. Ding! Congratulations, host! Successfully obtained 20 million energy values. Ding! Congratulations, host! Successfully obtained 2 talent points. Ding! Congratulations, host! Successfully devoured a 4th heaven of Saint Emperor, a peerless genius. Ding! Congratulations, host! Successfully obtained 40 million energy values. Ding! Congratulations, host! Successfully obtained 1 talent point. Ding! Congratulations, host! Successfully devoured a 6th heaven of Saint Emperor, a peerless genius. Ding! Congratulations, host! Successfully obtained 60 million energy values. Ding! Congratulations, host! Successfully obtained 2 talent points. After listening to the system's voice, Wang Mang's expression was calm, as usual. He looked at the young owner and the waiter of the inn expressionlessly. Under their shocked, angry, and nervous gazes, Wang Mang finally slowly opened his mouth and said, "That's right. Why don't you have any self-awareness at all? I didn't kill you last time. Do you think I'm afraid of you? Or do you think I'm afraid of the legendary heavens chosen with the fighting power of a peak Emperor God behind you? I'm just saying that as long as you don't disturb me, it's better to avoid unnecessary trouble." At this point, Wang Mang paused, his face full of confusion. "But why do you have to court death?" Hearing this, the young owner of the inn said with an unsightly expression, "Kill me if you can. You can see if Luo Tianqing will let you go after you enter the city." Wang Mang nodded when he heard this, and he said with an indifferent expression, "All right, I'll wait. Let's see what he can do to me." After saying that, Wang Mang's upper body transformed into the body of a giant python again. At the same time, he opened his bloody mouth. In the blink of an eye, he swallowed the owner and the waiter into his bloody mouth. Then, the system's voice sounded again. "Ding! Congratulations, host! Successfully devoured a 5th heaven of Saint Emperor, a peerless genius. Ding! Congratulations, host! Successfully obtained 50 million energy values. Ding! Congratulations, host! Successfully obtained 2 talent points. Ding! Congratulations, host! Successfully devoured a 4th heaven of Saint Emperor, a peerless genius. Ding! Congratulations, host! Successfully obtained 40 million energy values. Ding! Congratulations, Tree Tribe! Successfully obtained 1 talent point." Wang Mang nodded in satisfaction and muttered to himself, "Finally, it's much quieter." As he spoke, Wang Mang waved his hand and broke the enchantment. At this moment, a helpless voice sounded from afar. "Friend, why did you kill Luo Tianqing's men? Do you know that you're in big trouble?" Hearing that, Wang Mang immediately looked over. Then, Wang Mang saw Duan Lang flying over from the barren forest. In the next moment, Duan Lang arrived in front of Wang Mang and looked at him speechlessly. Seeing that, Wang Mang was stunned at first. Then he frowned and said, "What do you say? Is Luo Tianqing very powerful?" Hearing that, Duan Lang smiled bitterly and shook his head. "Friend, you don't know. He's not just powerful. It's not an exaggeration to say that Luo Tianqing can do whatever he wants in the city. Because Luo Tianqing has formed an alliance with 4 legendary geniuses at the peak of the Emperor God level. They're also known as the Nightmare Alliance in the city. It's simply a nightmare for all geniuses. Even legendary geniuses are all hunted by the Nightmare Alliance. Because they've even hunted legendary geniuses before. Even if they failed, they still managed to escape unscathed. Even in the first stage of the conquest of the heavens, the Nightmare Alliance is one of the most famous alliances. After hearing Duan Lang's words, Wang Mang's originally nonchalant expression instantly turned serious. He originally thought that Luo Tianqing was just standing behind him. He was just a legendary genius who had reached the peak of the Emperor God level. But what Wang Mang never expected was that this Luo Tianqing was already heaven-defying enough. In the end, he even formed an alliance. Moreover, it was an alliance of 5 legendary geniuses at the peak of the Emperor God level. Chapter 795. What a guy. This alliance, this was 2F** King Disgusting. A legendary genius with the combat power of a peak Emperor God was already powerful enough. Yet, they formed an alliance. This was simply not giving the other geniuses a chance to survive. At this moment, looking at the gloomy Wang Mang, Duan Lang smiled bitterly and said, "Now you know why Luo Tianqing is not to be trifled with. My advice to you now is to find a few powerful teammates and form an alliance with them before considering entering the city. Otherwise, if you offend Luo Tianqing, he will not let you off easily." After hearing Duan Lang's words, Wang Mang nodded slowly and smiled softly. "Thank you for your reminder. I know what to do." After saying that, Wang Mang asked curiously, "Why don't you enter the city, and I don't see you hunting geniuses either?" Hearing that, Duan Lang said helplessly, "I do want to hunt geniuses. Unfortunately, my strength does not allow me to do so. Now that I'm running around in the wilderness, I want to try my luck and see if I can find any opportunities. That's because many defeated geniuses in the past did not even have time to return to the world they came from. If I'm lucky, I can obtain the treasures left behind by these geniuses. It's even possible to obtain the inheritance." Hearing this, Wang Mang came to a sudden realization and nodded. "So that's how it is. Fellow Taoist, please be careful as well." Obviously, Wang Mang had a good impression of Duan Lang. This guy had answered his questions several times and kindly reminded him of many things. Duan Lang also smiled and nodded. After resting for a while at the city gate, he turned around and flew towards the wilderness. Seeing that, Wang Mang shook his head slightly. He really could not understand why this guy was so weak. Why did he still want to conquer all the worlds? At this moment, Wang Mang suddenly saw ancestral Gragon and a figure flying towards him from afar. In the blink of an eye, the two were already very close. At the same time, Wang Mang also saw the figure beside ancestral Gragon. This was an extremely young genius. His aura was extremely tyrannical. From this young prodigy's aura, Wang Mang could sense that this fellow was also a legendary prodigy. Furthermore, his battle strength and aura were at the peak of the 4th heaven of the Emperor God realm. Most importantly, Wang Mang felt that his aura was somewhat familiar. Where have I met him before? Just as Wang Mang was feeling puzzled, a voice suddenly rang out. Ancestral Gragon chuckled. "Wang Mang, let me introduce you. This is Emperor Qing." At the same time, ancestral Gragon introduced to Emperor Qing. "Emperor Qing, this is the Wang Mang I told you about." Emperor Qing nodded and cupped his hands at Wang Mang. Li Qinglian greets fellow Taoist Wang Mang. "Fellow Taoist Wang Mang, just call me Emperor Qing." After hearing this, Wang Mang smiled and nodded politely. "Emperor Qing, your strength is extraordinary." Emperor Qing smiled and shook his head. "If it weren't for someone disturbing my breakthrough, my combat strength would be on par with yours. Unfortunately, when I was in seclusion, some scoundrel came to disturb me and caused me to fail on the verge of success." Emperor Qing couldn't help but gnash his teeth. However, Wang Mang was startled when he heard those calm words. In just an instant, Wang Mang guessed that this guy was probably the one who had been disturbed by him in the cave not long ago and failed to break through. Thinking of this, Wang Mang suddenly felt a little guilty, but he pretended to be surprised and said, "I see. That scoundrel is really hateful." At this moment, Ancestral Gragon looked at Wang Mang in shock and asked, "You broke through to the legendary level? How is this possible?" Obviously, Ancestral Gragon didn't pay attention to Wang Mang at first, but after carefully observing Wang Mang's aura, he immediately sensed the familiar prodigy aura on Wang Mang's body. This also proved that Wang Mang had stepped into the legendary level of prodigy. Because of this, he felt very shocked. After all, Wang Mang had only been here for a short time. In the end, he had already broken through to the legendary level. He was on equal footing with him so soon. For a moment, Ancestral Gragon felt a little uncomfortable. He even couldn't accept the reality, because from now on, the sense of superiority he had over Wang Mang was also gone. If his cultivation was still at the 8th heaven of the Saint Emperor realm, he could still look down on Wang Mang. Unfortunately, he had only recovered his cultivation to the 6th heavenly layer of Saint Emperor. His combat strength was only at the 4th heaven of the Saint Emperor realm, compared to Wang Mang's current combat strength at the 5th heaven of the Saint Emperor realm. He was already weaker by a large margin. This also made Ancestral Gragon guess in his heart. Wang Mang didn't just break through to the legendary level. Obviously, his cultivation realm had also broken through. Or else, Wang Mang couldn't have reached the 5th heaven of the Saint Emperor realm. Thinking of this, Ancestral Gragon's heart was very bitter, and his face was a little depressed. Similarly, Li Qinglian also looked at Wang Mang with some surprise. Obviously, he didn't expect Wang Mang to have just broken through to the legendary level. He thought that Wang Mang himself was a legendary level genius, although Wang Mang had just broken through to the legendary level. However, he would not associate Wang Mang with the fellow who had sabotaged his breakthrough. However, in Li Qinglian's heart, he also attached great importance to Wang Mang, because, in Li Qinglian's view, Wang Mang's level of excellence was on par with his. Even looking at the current situation, Wang Mang was one step ahead of him. After being seen through by Ancestral Gragon, Wang Mang didn't care. Instead, he chuckled and said, "Yes, brother Ancestral Gragon, you're behind me now." Hearing this, Ancestral Gragon snorted coldly, obviously in a very bad mood. After taking a deep breath, Ancestral Gragon said coldly, "Tell me, what are your plans now? Do you want to enter the city or continue to block the city?" Wang Mang was stunned at first, then he smiled and asked, "What's your plan?" Hearing this, Ancestral Gragon said calmly, "If you want to enter the city, I'll continue to block the city with Li Qinglian. If you don't enter the city, we'll block the city together. The more people, the better. What do you think? What do you think?" Hearing this, Wang Mang was speechless. This guy was really well prepared. Clearly, the Ancestral Gragon had already found someone to replace him. If he and Ancestral Gragon went their separate ways, this guy also had an ally. Unfortunately, Wang Mang obviously wouldn't enter the city easily now. Or rather, before he found a strong enough ally. He wouldn't choose to enter the city easily. Therefore, Wang Mang chuckled and said, "Then let's block the city together." Hearing this, Ancestral Gragon said coldly, "If that's the case, let's make it clear first. Every time we block the city, we'll each take 1/3. Hearing this, Wang Mang shook his head and refused. That's impossible. After joining hands to block the boundary, how many geniuses we can kill will depend on our own skills. Hearing this, Ancestral Gragon was so angry that he laughed and said, "Then, do you think we still need you?" Wang Mang had an indifferent expression on his face as he shrugged his shoulders. "Up to you. You block your way, and I'll block mine." Seeing Wang Mang's shameless look, Ancestral Gragon's expression changed. Ancestral Gragon's face turned ugly. He gritted his teeth and said, "Wang Mang, don't go too far." Chapter 796. Wang Mang was stunned at first. Then, he said in annoyance and amusement, "How am I going too far? Isn't it fair to work together to set up the enchantment and kill more or less? Since you don't want to, we'll go our separate ways. If I can kill more prodigies, do I still have to divide the spoils with you fairly? If that's the case, why should I try my best to improve my strength?" At this point, Wang Mang paused and mocked. "Besides, using our own means is the fairest way. If you can't kill more prodigies, you can only blame yourself for not being strong enough. Who else can you blame?" After hearing Wang Mang's words, ancestral Gregon, whose face was already stiff and ugly, trembled with anger. Obviously, after Wang Mang became strong, ancestral Gregon was really mad at him for turning his back on him. But seeing Wang Mang's mocking and ugly face, ancestral Gregon was helpless. He even had no doubt that if he didn't have the means to forcefully improve his strength, it was even possible that Wang Mang would attack him. Because at this moment, ancestral Gregon finally saw Wang Mang's true colors. Hypocritical, shameless, and disgusting. Like a wolf in the mountains, arrogant when successful. In ancestral Gregon's opinion, this sentence was the most appropriate to describe Wang Mang. Just as ancestral Gregon was feeling aggrieved and angry, Li Qinglian nodded in agreement and chuckled. "Well said. Well said. Kill more or kill less. Everyone will rely on their own methods. That is the greatest fairness." Fellow Taoist Wang Mang's thinking is still very good. Since ancient times, strength is respected. Harvest depends on one's own means. There's nothing to say. After hearing Li Qinglian's words, ancestral Gregon was suddenly speechless. He looked at Li Qinglian helplessly. In ancestral Gregon's opinion, Li Qinglian had never seen Wang Mang's means. He was almost immune to any attacks from existences of the same level. Such a heaven-defying means was destined to be a kill-stealing. The two of them were destined to be completely inferior to Wang Mang. However, Li Qinglian agreed to it. What else could he say? Helpless. Ancestral Gregon also fell silent. Thus, the alliance agreement was reached. In the blink of an eye, another half a month had passed. At this moment, in and outside the city gate, now more than 50 geniuses had gathered. This was the number of sky prides that had gathered in just half a month. As for why it was able to gather so many geniuses, of course, it was because Wang Mang, ancestral Gregon, and Li Qinglian had set up a terrifying barrier. As a result, the sky prides were simply unable to break through the barrier to enter the city. Therefore, after half a month, the geniuses who arrived gradually gathered together. Unfortunately, they were still unable to break the barrier, unless there was an existence with the battle power of a fifth heaven emperor god. Otherwise, it would have been impossible to blast open the ceiling barrier set up by Wang Mang and the other two. Moreover, in the past half a month, Wang Mang and the others had not killed any sky prides. Otherwise, these 50-odd sky prides would have been scared off long ago. However, such a number of people was still not enough for Wang Mang and the other two to make a move, because to the three of them, these sky prides were still too few. Obviously, Wang Mang was prepared to gather close to 100 sky prides before making a move. But at this moment, in the space portal far away, a figure with a terrifying aura appeared. This green figure with a terrifying aura swept over towards them. Originally, Wang Mang, ancestral Gregon, and Li Qinglian were calmly drinking tea. After seeing this sky pride, the three of them had a drastic change in expression. Then, ancestral Gregon exclaimed, "Everyone be careful. This guy is too powerful." Hearing that, Wang Mang's expression turned solemn, because this guy's aura had reached the peak of the Emperor God realm. At this moment, in the space portal far away, another black figure appeared. This black figure's aura was even more terrifying. After he appeared, his terrifying aura swept across the entire heaven and earth. Furthermore, as soon as this figure appeared, the expression of the blue-robed genius changed drastically. Then, Wang Mang saw the green figure instantly break the barrier in the city gate. Then, the green figure instantly dashed into the space as if he was running for his life. Similarly, the terrifying black figure also dashed into the city at lightning speed. However, Wang Mang could still see the black figure clearly. This was because this guy was none other than the Sky Pride hunter from the Sacred Emperor continent. He could not see his face at all. His entire body was shrouded in a black robe and black aura. After regaining his senses, Wang Mang's forehead was covered in sweat. That was because these two guys' auras were too terrifying. In particular, the Sky Pride hunter seemed to be even more powerful. At the same time, Ancestral Gragon could not help but look bitter. The Sky Pride hunter is here so soon? This guy is still as ferocious and terrifying as usual. He's almost as strong as a peak Emperor God realm legendary Sky Prides. Hearing that, Li Qinglian's expression turned solemn. Although I don't know how long that green figure will take to become a legendary Sky Pride. Which one are you talking about? The black-robed figure? His aura is not much different from a legendary Sky Pride that I've seen before. Otherwise, it's impossible that a peak Emperor God realm legendary Sky Prides could not fight against him. Hearing that, Wang Mang could not help but nod. Clearly, he agreed with Li Qinglian. However, if the strongest Sky Pride hunter was really close to becoming a legendary Sky Pride, even Wang Mang was convinced. After all, this guy was a Sky Pride hunter who knew how many Sky Prides he had killed while hiding in the Sacred Emperor continent. At this moment, Wang Mang could not help but see a few Sky Prides rushing into the city without hesitation. Seeing that, Wang Mang's expression changed drastically. Quick, block the city gate. These Sky Prides are trying to escape. As he spoke, Wang Mang's figure shot out explosively. At the same time, his hands formed seals, and the terrifying law of the Tao once again condensed into a spatial barrier. In the blink of an eye, Wang Mang had already set up a spatial barrier. This caused an uproar among the Sky Prides. Over 50 Sky Prides glanced at Wang Mang with dark expressions. However, Wang Mang did not seem to be bothered by it. He performed a hand seal again and set up a barrier with the power of the law of the Tao. In an instant, all the Sky Prides were trapped inside the barrier. Similarly, the Ancestral Gragon and Li Qinglian also set up a barrier around them. Seeing this, the Sky Prides panicked even more. Many furious gazes were fixed on Wang Mang and his crew. What are you trying to do? Why are you setting up a barrier to stop us from entering the city? That's right. We've never offended you before. What are you trying to do? I suspect that these three fellows don't have good intentions towards us. They're definitely up to no good. Everyone, be careful. If I'm not mistaken, these three are planning to kill us all. Hee, just the three of them? With over 50 of us here, do you think we're afraid of them? That's right. If they're up to no good, Wang Mang and I will kill them together. Do they really think we're pushovers? Which one of us here isn't a dragon or a phoenix among men? Chapter 797. After hearing what the geniuses said, Wang Mang was stunned at first. Then he couldn't help but laugh. These guys were so silly that they were adorable. The strongest one was only a third Heaven Emperor God, yet they wanted to join forces to kill them. It was simply wishful thinking and daydreaming. At the same time, Wang Mang decided to take action. With that thought, Wang Mang nodded slowly at Ancestral Gragon and Li Qinglian. Let's do it. We can't drag this on any longer. If more powerful geniuses don't appear later, even if we join forces, we won't be able to control the situation. Obviously, that was what Wang Mang was most worried about. He was also afraid that the previous situation would happen again. If something like this were to happen again, if things went wrong, all their previous efforts would be in vain. Ancestral Gragon and Li Qinglian looked at each other and nodded. They knew what Wang Mang was worried about. Similarly, that was what they were worried about too. After all, if another powerful genius appeared, the situation could easily get out of control. In the next moment, under the shocked and angry gazes of more than 50 geniuses, Wang Mang took the lead and attacked first. He instantly transformed into a gigantic python. Then, Wang Mang swayed his huge body and charged towards the geniuses. At the sight of this, the 50-odd geniuses were enraged as they roared out. "You've gone too far. Do you really think we're afraid of you? Everyone, let's attack together and kill him on the spot. Let's attack together and kill him. We'll charge into the city together." In an instant, many geniuses attacked in anger. Moreover, they didn't hold back at all. They attacked with all their might. After all, Wang Mang wanted to kill them. How could they hold back? In an instant, all kinds of terrifying divine abilities came at Wang Mang from all directions like raindrops. Among those divine powers, there were wind, rain, thunder, lightning, metal, wood, water, fire, earth, and all kinds of divine powers. Seeing this scene, Li Qinglian, who was not far away, could not help but be stunned. Even though such a large number of divine abilities couldn't kill an existence with the battle power of a fifth sky god emperor, it was still too late. However, if he were to endure all of it, he would definitely not feel good. In fact, he might even be seriously injured. After all, there were emperor god level geniuses among the geniuses who had performed the divine powers. Although it was impossible for a large number of ants to bite an elephant to death, it was still very possible for them to be bitten. If he, Li Qinglian, had to endure these divine abilities, he would definitely be severely injured. At this moment, Ancestral Gregon suddenly spoke. "After Wang Mang scatters this group of prodigies, we'll make our move. Otherwise, the two of us wouldn't be able to beat him in terms of kills." Hearing that, Li Qinglian was taken aback at first. Then she looked at Ancestral Gregon in astonishment. Could it be that the combined attacks of these sky prides can't hurt him? Hearing this, Ancestral Gregon said helplessly, "What else? I've worked with him before, and he has a heaven-defying body-type divine ability. It seems to be immune to all attacks of the same level. That's why he's so confident. We don't have any top-notch body-type divine ability." After hearing Ancestral Gregon's words, Li Qinglian was so shocked that she was speechless. However, she did not doubt Ancestral Gregon in front of her at all. This guy, who had become friends after a fight, did not bother to lie. Li Qinglian knew this very well. As expected, in the next moment, Li Qinglian saw a scene that shocked her beyond words. She saw Wang Mang's huge body suddenly dashing through the overwhelming divine abilities and directly charging towards the group of prodigies. Similarly, when the group of prodigies saw that Wang Mang was unscathed, they could not help but exclaim in shock. "How is this possible? How is he unscathed when we joined forces? Impossible. Could it be that the divine abilities that we used together couldn't hurt him at all? Oh my God, how can he be so powerful? Could it be that he is immune to all attacks that are weaker than him? Damn it, this guy must have the 6th level divine ability to become a legendary prodigy. Everyone be careful. This guy is invincible. All of our attacks are useless against him." In an instant, many prodigies dodged in the face of Wang Mang, who was charging towards them. After all, they had roughly guessed that Wang Mang should be immune to their divine abilities. Therefore, they did not choose to continue fighting with Wang Mang. Unfortunately, not all Heaven's favorites managed to dodge the attack. Among them, there were 5 prodigies who did not manage to dodge in time. As they screamed, they were swallowed by Wang Mang. At the same time, the system's voice sounded. "Ding! Congratulations, host! Successfully devoured a 7th Heaven Holy Emperor, a peerless prodigy. Ding! Congratulations, host! Successfully obtained 70 million energy points. Ding! Congratulations, host! Obtained 1 talent point. Ding! Congratulations, host! Successfully devoured a 6th Heaven Holy Emperor, a peerless prodigy. Ding! Congratulations, host! Successfully obtained 60 million energy points. Ding! Congratulations, host! Successfully obtained 2 talent points. Ding! Congratulations, host! Successfully devoured a 6th Heaven Holy Emperor, a peerless prodigy. Ding! Congratulations, host! Successfully obtained 60 million energy points. Ding! Congratulations, Tree Tribe! Successfully obtained 2 talent points. Ding! Congratulations, host. Successfully. When Wang Mang started his hunt, the system's voice sounded continuously. In fact, Wang Mang was already numb to the system's voice. That was because every time he attacked this group of prodigies, he would catch a few of them and eat them. Moreover, Wang Mang did not choose to attack these prodigies. Instead, he swallowed them directly. After all, if he attacked these prodigies, he would create opportunities for Li Qinglian and Ancestral Gregon. That was because these two fellows would attack him every time they saw him eating prodigies. In just a short while, the two of them had already killed a few prodigies each. Therefore, Wang Mang was naturally unwilling to create opportunities for these two fellows. Although these two fellows' combined gains were not as good as his. But Wang Mang simply could not wait for the two of them to not have any gains. At the same time, Li Qinglian finally knew the truth. Why did Ancestral Gregon say that he could not beat Wang Mang? That was because in just a short while, Wang Mang had already killed more than 10 prodigies. But what about him and Ancestral Gregon? They had only killed 6 prodigies in total. That was because they could not be like Wang Mang and continue to charge around without restraint. After all, they did not have any heaven-defying physical abilities that allowed them to ignore any attacks of the same level. Chapter 798. Therefore, Li Qinglian was still very envious of Wang Mang. This was especially true when they saw Wang Mang, who was eating heartily, eating several geniuses in one bite. This made Li Qinglian go crazy with envy, but there was nothing she could do. At the same time, Li Qinglian also regretted not supporting Ancestral Gregon's fair plan back then, because at the current trend, they would not be able to beat Wang Mang at all. In fact, even if they added up, they would not be able to kill more people than Wang Mang. After all, these elites were not balloons that could just stand there and let them hit them. Moreover, these elites also realized that they could not afford to offend Wang Mang. On the contrary, he and Ancestral Gregon became the targets of the elite's anger. Because of this, there was also a very funny scene on the battlefield. Every time Wang Mang killed these elites, he would always be able to kill 1 or 2 elites. If he was lucky, he would even be able to kill 4 or 5 elites in one bite. On the other hand, Ancestral Gregon and Li Qinglian were in an extremely sorry state and even had many injuries on their bodies. This was because when Wang Mang attacked these elites, they would not fight back against Wang Mang and would only dodge. Then, once they attacked these elites would attack them together as if they had gone crazy. This caused Li Qinglian to feel extremely wronged. Damn it, this was too much of a bully. Why did they have to attack them? Wang Mang had killed so many of them. Why was he venting his anger on them? Was it because they were easy to bully? Feeling depressed, Li Qinglian and Ancestral Gregon were also angry. They began to kill these elites crazily. Of course, most of them mainly avoided them. The main reason was that they did not want to be attacked by these elites. Over time, the number of elites they killed also increased along with Wang Mang's perception. A few hours later, in the space enchantment, there were originally more than 50 elites, but now there were less than 20 elites left. Among them, Wang Mang alone had killed more than 20 elites. The Ancestral Gregon and Li Qinglian had only killed 15 geniuses in total. After a round of comparison, it was obvious who was superior. Moreover, compared to the Ancestral Gregon and Li Qinglian, who were in an extremely sorry state, Wang Mang's eyes had already turned red from all the killing. Like a demonic python, he crazily pounced on the group of prodigies within the barrier. Every time a miserable cry rang out, it meant that there was a genius that had fallen to Wang Mang's bloody maw. Another 2 hours passed. At this moment, the entire barrier was completely silent. Fine. This was because all the geniuses had been killed. At this moment, only Wang Mang, Ancestral Gregon, and Li Qinglian were left in the barrier. Compared to the joyful Wang Mang, Li Qinglian and Ancestral Gregon didn't look too good. A total of 56 Sky Prides. Wang Mang had single-handedly killed 33 prodigies. In total, they had only killed 23 Sky Prides. They couldn't compete with Wang Mang in terms of kills. Therefore, how could they be happy? At this moment, Wang Mang's next attack blasted open the space barrier. Looking at the two people with ugly expressions, Wang Mang immediately chuckled and asked, "What's wrong, fellow Taoists?" "Oof." Li Qinglian, an ancestral Graygon, snorted. Then, they swung their sleeves and returned to the inn, where they began to drink tea in silence. Li Qinglian, on the other hand, spoke a few words to ancestral Graygon, then flew off into the distance. Obviously, she was going to cultivate in seclusion. However, ancestral Graygon didn't go. This proved that ancestral Graygon's harvest wasn't enough for him to make a breakthrough. Similarly, Wang Mang's accumulation wasn't enough for him to make a breakthrough. After all, he had only devoured 30 elites. How was that enough for him to make a breakthrough? One elite had an average energy value of 60 million. More than 30 elites didn't even have an energy value of 2 billion. There was still a long way to go before Wang Mang could evolve again. Thinking of this, Wang Mang felt a little helpless. He finally realized, even if he continued to block outside the city gate, it would be difficult for him to increase his strength again. Why did he say that? Because these geniuses were really worthless. To the current Wang Mang, it could be said to be tasteless, but a pity to throw it away. The talent value that they could provide to Wang Mang was also pitifully little. I can't go on like this. Even if I kick ancestral Graygon and Li Qinglian away, I don't know how long it will take to accumulate enough energy for me to evolve. Wang Mang muttered to himself for a while. Suddenly, he couldn't help but look at ancestral Graygon. After seeing Wang Mang's gaze, ancestral Graygon's face instantly darkened. He said in a deep voice, "Why are you looking at me? Are you out of your mind? Do you want to kill me too?" Hearing that, Wang Mang laughed and ignored ancestral Graygon's displeasure. Wang Mang knew why ancestral Graygon was displeased, but he couldn't be bothered with him. This guy was obviously feeling uncomfortable in his heart. After all, the two of them didn't have as much as he did. If ancestral Graygon didn't have the means to forcefully increase his strength, Wang Mang really wanted to kill ancestral Graygon as well. But at this moment, Wang Mang suddenly thought of something. He still had to collect the 4 masks and become an unparalleled genius. Thinking of this, Wang Mang couldn't help but have an idea. Should he ask ancestral Graygon to give him the masks to complete the mission first? If he remembered correctly, the reward for this mission was also quite good. Besides, he was already so close to ancestral Graygon now. It shouldn't be a problem to borrow the masks to complete the mission, right? Thinking of this, Wang Mang immediately looked at ancestral Graygon with anticipation. He pretended to be curious and asked, "Brother ancestral Graygon, your God Emperor Mask and Demon Emperor Mask also have superimposed 3 levels of combat power, right?" Hearing that, ancestral Graygon was stunned at first. Then he suddenly became vigilant. He looked at Wang Mang coldly and said in a very cold tone, "That's right, what do you want?" Because ancestral Graygon knew Wang Mang too well. This guy called a brother again. This meant that nothing good was going to happen. Ancestral Graygon even guessed that Wang Mang was very likely to have designs on his God Emperor Mask and Demon Emperor Mask. Thinking of this, ancestral Graygon became even more vigilant. If Wang Mang dared to snatch his mask, even if both of them were injured in the end, he would also forcibly increase his strength and fight Wang Mang to the death. At this moment, seeing the extremely vigilant ancestral Graygon, Wang Mang was suddenly speechless. He really didn't have any designs on ancestral Graygon. He also didn't expect ancestral Graygon to not trust him so much. Wang Mang had no choice but to say with a bright smile, "Brother ancestral Graygon, aren't you curious how much combat power will be superimposed after the 4 supreme masks are combined?" Hearing that, ancestral Graygon was stunned for a moment. Then he sneered, "Of course I'm curious. Why? Are you willing to lend me the God Emperor Mask and the God Emperor Mask to try?" Hearing that, Wang Mang's face stiffened. Then he explained with a smile, "What I mean is, brother, can you lend me the God Emperor Mask and the Demon Emperor Mask? Brother, I haven't touched these 2 masks before. Just treat it as broadening my knowledge." Chapter 799. After hearing Wang Mang's words, Ancestral Gragon sneered disdainfully. Why don't you lend me your immortal Emperor mask and holy Emperor mask so I can broaden my horizons? Obviously, he knew what Wang Mang was up to. Moreover, he would never lend the mask to Wang Mang, unless Wang Mang was willing to lend him the mask. In addition, he was deeply suspicious of Wang Mang's moral character. This was mainly because Wang Mang left a bad impression on him. In Ancestral Gragon's eyes, Wang Mang was a very insidious and cunning person. No, he was simply a wolf in the mountain. He would be rampant when he got what he wanted. It could be said that, in Ancestral Gragon's eyes, Wang Mang was the most untrustworthy person. In short, there was only one sentence. If Wang Mang was reliable, even sows would climb trees. At this moment, looking at Ancestral Gragon's disdainful and mocking face, for a moment, Wang Mang was speechless and didn't know what to say. Thinking of his usual attitude towards Ancestral Gragon, Wang Mang could understand. Alas, he shouldn't have offended him too much. Thinking of this, Wang Mang began to think about how to persuade Ancestral Gragon. But Wang Mang didn't know that his action of being in deep thought was completely different in Ancestral Gragon's eyes. This dog thing, is he harboring ill intentions towards me again? This was the thought in Ancestral Gragon's mind at this moment. Ancestral Gragon was alert. Wang Mang suddenly asked, "Brother Ancestral Gragon, is my demon mask really that bad?" Hearing this, Ancestral Gragon was stunned at first, then he sneered. "Are you asking the obvious? Don't you know? I'm really curious. Do you have any friends?" "No. Do you have a true friend? Do you have a very good friend?" Facing Ancestral Gragon's 3 consecutive questions, Wang Mang was speechless. After smiling brightly, Wang Mang looked at Ancestral Gragon seriously and said, "Brother Ancestral Dragon, I actually want to be your true friend." Hearing that, Ancestral Gragon gave an "oh" and said expressionlessly, "Sure, the mask is out of the question." Seeing this, Wang Mang was speechless again. He even felt like he was going crazy. This dog, he was really stubborn. Helpless, Wang Mang felt extremely tired as he asked, "What's the matter, Brother Ancestral Gragon? How can you believe that I'm telling the truth? How about this, Brother Ancestral Dragon? In the next Sky Pride hunt, you and I will split the spoils. I'll split it in half with you. Just let me have a look at the God Emperor's mask and Devil Emperor's mask." After hearing Wang Mang's words, Ancestral Gragon was first stunned, then hesitated. After a moment of silence, Ancestral Gragon raised his eyebrows. He looked up at Wang Mang and asked, "Where is Li Qinglian? Kick him out?" Hearing that, Wang Mang suddenly nodded indifferently and said, "After all, I'm not close to him. Only you, Ancestral Gragon, are qualified to be my brother." Wang Mang's flattering words caused Ancestral Gragon to involuntarily raise his eyebrows, feeling extremely comfortable in his heart. However, Ancestral Gragon still shook his head and said, "Wang Mang, if you do that, you'll offend Li Qinglian to the core. You can't be like Wang Mang." Hearing that, Wang Mang was instantly stunned, and his face was full of astonishment. Damn it, what does he mean by "I can't be like Wang Mang"? Is my demonic quality really that bad? I've already become an iconic symbol? After suppressing his anger, Wang Mang said with a sullen face, "Brother Ancestral Gragon, tell me, what do you want? How can I borrow the God Emperor's mask and Devil Emperor's mask to take a look?" Hearing that, Ancestral Gragon was silent for a moment. Then he stared at Wang Mang and said in a deep voice, "You really just want to take a look? You don't have any other thoughts about my 2 masks?" Wang Mang shook his head and said, "I'd be lying if I said I don't. But if I have to pay a high price to take your masks, I'm not willing to do that. So, I really just want to take a look. I definitely don't have any intention of snatching it." "You're right. My moral character is really too bad. I'll change it in the future." After hearing Wang Mang's words, Ancestral Gragon was silent for a moment, then nodded and said, "All right, I'll let you take a look. But you have to remember my words. If you dare to snatch my 2 masks, I'll definitely not let you off. Even if you escape to any place in the universe, I'll chase you to the ends of the earth. As for the request, we'll do as you say. In the future, when we hunt down prodigies, we'll split the spoils equally. Even if Li Qinglian comes back, and the three of us join forces to hunt down prodigies, you can only kill half of them. The remaining half of the prodigies will be left for Li Qinglian and me. After hearing Ancestral Gregon's words, Wang Mang was first stunned, then Wang Mang was stunned. Ancestral Gregon's promise was somewhat unexpected. What made Wang Mang feel even more incredulous was that Ancestral Gregon was still willing to protect Li Qinglian's interests, especially when it was detrimental to his own interests. This really made Wang Mang feel very surprised. But it could also be seen from here. Ancestral Gregon's character was indeed not bad. He really couldn't compare to him in this aspect. Thinking of this, Wang Mang didn't hesitate and nodded. All right, brother Ancestral Gregon, I promise you. Hearing this, Ancestral Gregon took off the mask on his face expressionlessly and handed it to Wang Mang. Seeing this, Wang Mang resisted the urge to snatch it and slowly took the mask. The next moment, the system's voice also sounded. Ding! Congratulations, host. Successfully completed the mission. Ding! Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained 10 billion energy points. Ding! Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained an Immortal King-level blind box X1. Ding! Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained an Immortal King-level treasure box X1. After hearing the system's voice, Wang Mang was instantly overjoyed. As expected, once he got the mask, this mission was considered completed. Thinking of this, Wang Mang suddenly looked at the mask in his hand with some reluctance. After looking up, Wang Mang saw that Ancestral Gregon was staring at him with extreme vigilance. Seeing this scene, Wang Mang couldn't help but lower his head and slowly stroke the mask with his palm. But in the next moment, Wang Mang was surprised to find that the God Emperor mask and the Demon Emperor mask were trembling slightly. The two masks seemed to want to rush into the Immortal Emperor mask and the Holy Emperor mask. This also made Wang Mang even more curious. If the four supreme masks were gathered together, how much of an increase in strength could he get? How many levels of combat power could he get? Why don't I try fusing the masks? Or I can take the masks and run away directly? For a moment, all kinds of ideas flooded into Wang Mang's mind. This also made the greed and selfishness in Wang Mang's heart start to stir. Chapter 800. At this moment, Wang Mang was in a dilemma. It was as if two little angels were trying to persuade each other. Black Angel, just follow your heart and snatch it. With the support of the God Emperor mask and the Demon Emperor mask, the Ancestral Gregon is nothing. White Angel, one can't be too shameless. The Ancestral Gregon chose to trust you once, so we can't do such a thing. Just as Wang Mang was in a dilemma, the system's voice sounded frowny-faced. Ding. Detected that the host is present. The host is now given the following mission to choose from. Mission 1. I borrowed the mask with my own ability. Why should I return it? Refuse to return the Ancestral Gregon mask. Mission time. Available upon selection. Mission reward. 5 billion energy points. Immortal King-level blind box X. Immortal King-level treasure chest X1. Mission 2. Do whatever it takes to achieve your goal. Refuse to return the mask and mock the Ancestral Gregon. Mission time. Available upon completion. Mission reward. 10 billion energy points. Immortal King-level blind box X1. Immortal King-level treasure chest X1. Mission 3. Return the mask to the Ancestral Gregon and be a good person for once. After all, you might need the Ancestral Gregon's help to enter the city. Mission time. Available upon completion. Mission reward. 15 billion energy points. Immortal King-level treasure chest X1. Immortal King-level blind box X1. Good heavens. I'm in a dilemma for a while. The system has already issued a mission. This surprised Wang Mang. The rewards of the 3 missions were not much different. The reward for the first mission was the least. It also encouraged him to refuse to return the mask. The second mission was still encouraging him to return the mask and mocking the ancestral Gregon. The third mission had the most rewards, but it asked him to be a good person for once. From the rewards of the 3 missions, the third mission was without a doubt the most. After pondering for a long time, Wang Meng sighed in his heart. In the end, he decided to return the mask. Although he was reluctant, if the ancestral Gregon really went crazy and fought with him, it was really not worth it. With that thought in mind, Wang Meng said in his heart, "System, I choose the third mission." The next moment, the system's voice sounded frowny-faced ding. "Congratulations, host. Mission selected successfully. Please complete the mission as soon as possible to receive the reward." After listening to the system's voice, Wang Meng secretly let out a sigh of relief. He could swear that he did not choose the third mission because of the reward. If one were to ask him why he chose to return the mask, it would be more appropriate to say that he had discovered his conscience. Fine. To put it bluntly, Wang Meng was afraid that ancestral Gregon would fight him to the death at any cost. Otherwise, the losses would outweigh the gains. The next moment, under ancestral Gregon's vigilant gaze, Wang Meng smiled calmly, his face filled with sincerity. "Brother Ancestral Dragon, thank you for your trust." With that, Wang Meng returned the mask to Ancestral Gregon. After putting on the mask, Ancestral Gregon smiled and said, "You didn't disappoint me. If you really wanted to snatch it just now, I would have fought you to the death no matter what." In the next moment, just as Wang Meng was about to speak, the system's voice sounded. "Ding! Congratulations, host. Mission completed." "Ding! Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained 20 billion energy points." "Ding! Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained an immortal king-level blind box X1." "Ding! Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained an immortal king-level treasure box X1." After listening to the system's voice, Wang Meng was over the moon. He was sure that he could definitely evolve now. In fact, he should be able to evolve with the energy points he had accumulated. Even if it was a little lacking, it was definitely not by much. This did not include the 2 immortal king-level blind boxes and the 2 immortal king-level treasure chests. Thinking of this, Wang Meng became even more excited. After suppressing his excitement, Wang Meng immediately said to Ancestral Gregon with a smile, "Don't worry, brother Ancestral Gregon. You trust me so much. How can I betray your trust?" With that, Wang Meng reached out and patted Ancestral Gregon's shoulder, saying softly, "I'll find a place to digest my gains first, then I'll come back to hunt elites with you." Hearing this, Ancestral Gregon immediately asked in astonishment, "Don't tell me that you can break through again?" Wang Meng was stunned at first, then he could not help but laugh out loud. It should be about time. After hearing Wang Meng's reply, Ancestral Gregon's face was full of bitterness. "Your cultivation level is really rising fast. I haven't recovered my cultivation level yet, but your cultivation level has already caught up." With that, Ancestral Gregon waved his hand. He looked a little lonely, but his eyes were full of fighting spirit. Seeing this, Wang Meng nodded slightly and flew toward the outskirts of the barren forest in the distance happily. Half an hour later, Wang Meng came to the cave where he used to cultivate in seclusion. Then, Wang Meng set up a space-bounded domain and went in. After entering the cave, Wang Meng could not wait to say in his heart, "System, show me my personal information." The next moment, his personal information appeared in front of him. Wang Meng, disciple of sages to be, demon ancestor, type, ancient fiendish python, limit 800 meters, realm, 7th heaven of Saint Emperor, legendary prodigy, physique, HP 27,000, length 730 meters, width 36 meters, weight 120 million tons. Top superpowers, ancient fiend mighty body, perfection, devour, perfection, 3 lives supreme Buddha, perfection, wrath of gods and demons, perfection. Space, 1 bottle of forgotten love water, 1 falling saint pill, 1 6-flavor emperor pill, 1 godly meteorite cannon, 1-time rank 5 top bad luck card x1, immortal king grade treasure chest x2, immortal king grade blind box x2. Equipment: top world multicolored stone x1, divine martial sword, immortal emperor mask, saint emperor mask, talent 420/1500. Energy value 99. 8 billion/100 billion. After reading his personal information, Wang Mang could not help but laugh. He felt that not only could he reach the 8th heaven of Saint Emperor this time, with 2 immortal king grade treasure chests and 2 immortal king grade blind boxes, he might even be able to reach the 9th heaven of Saint Emperor. Once he reached the 9th heaven of Saint Emperor, he could take the 6-flavor Emperor pill and directly break through to the God Emperor realm. Thinking of this, Wang Mang could not help but feel excited. The only flaw was that he did not have a rank 5 one-time top good luck card. Otherwise, Wang Mang was confident that he could evolve and break through twice in a row. After taking a deep breath, Wang Mang excitedly muttered to himself, "That's right. System, open the Immortal King grade treasure chest." The next moment, the system's voice sounded. "Ding! Congratulations, host. Successfully opened the Immortal King grade treasure chest." "Ding! Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained 1 billion energy value." "Ding! Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained 2 billion energy value." "Ding! Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained 2 billion energy value." "Ding! Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained 1 falling saint pill." "Ding! Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained 1 bottle of unstoppable golden spear pill." "Ding! Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained 1 sun shooting art." "Ding! Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained 5 billion energy value." Chapter 801. After listening to the system's voice, Wang Mang was speechless. However, Wang Mang was not too depressed. An immortal king-level treasure chest could give 10 billion energy values. This had already surprised Wang Mang. He could accept it if it was some trash. Thinking of this, Wang Mang was in a good mood. Then, after pondering for a moment, Wang Mang once again said in his heart, "System, open the immortal king-level blind box." The next moment, the system's voice sounded again, frowny face ding. "Congratulations, host. Successfully opened the immortal king-level blind box." "Ding! Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained 1 billion energy values." Damn it, wasn't the immortal king-level blind box a little overboard this time? After hearing the system's first draw, Wang Mang couldn't help but frown. He was worried that the immortal king-level blind box would be too overboard. A minute later, under Wang Mang's perturbed mood, the system's voice sounded for the second time, frowny face ding. "Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained 2 billion energy values." After hearing the second draw, Wang Mang's worry eased slightly. He thought that the immortal king-level blind box would not disappoint him in the next draw. With that thought, Wang Mang adjusted his mood and continued to wait for the next draw. Another minute later, the system's voice sounded for the third time, frowny face ding. "Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained 3 billion energy values." Not bad, not bad. The energy values were opened. Each time, it was more and more. Wang Mang nodded in satisfaction. Another minute later, the system's voice sounded for the fourth time, frowny face ding. "Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained 4 billion energy values." Okay, very powerful. 4 draws yielded 10 billion energy points. This was already very good, just when Wang Mang was in a good mood. The system's voice sounded for the 5th time, frowny face ding. "Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained Red Boy's milk bottle." The F***CK? Red Boy was an immortal after all, right? Using a milk bottle? Could it be that Princess Iron Fan did not produce milk? Moreover, when did Journey to the West become so trendy? Was it already popular to use milk bottles? For a moment, Wang Mang was speechless. However, he could still accept the fact that the prize was trash. After comforting himself, Wang Meng continued to wait for the next prize to be revealed. Another minute passed. The system's voice sounded for the sixth time, frowny-faced Ding. Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained a white radish commonly used by female immortals. What a guy. Why would a female immortal use a radish? How is this possible? Did he really think that he was ignorant? Wang Meng was speechless. In his opinion, female immortals really had such needs. She only needed to wave her hand, and countless people would fall under her pomegranate skirt, right? Thinking of this, Wang Meng was a little depressed. It seemed that this immortal king-level blind box was really a little overboard. At this moment, the system's voice sounded for the seventh time, frowny-faced Ding. Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained a pair of Shun Gongbao's original underwear. After listening to the system's announcement, Wang Meng was also a little helpless. 2 chests, and he had obtained 20 billion energy values. This was simply a huge disappointment to him. It seemed that there were no top-notch good luck cards. It was impossible to obtain such a heaven-defying amount of energy values from these chests. After adjusting his mood for a while, only then did Wang Meng gloomily recite in his heart, "System, open the Immortal King-level treasure chest again." The next moment, the system's voice sounded again, frowny-faced Ding. Congratulations, host. Successfully opened the Immortal King-level treasure chest. Ding. Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained 5 billion energy values. Ding. Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained 5 billion energy values. Ding. Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained a 10,000-year-old immortal peach. Ding. Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained 1 billion energy values. Ding. Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained an immortal emperor level old cow. Ding. Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained an immortal emperor level old bitch. Ding. Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained an immortal king level old sow. Ding. Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained an immortal emperor level old hen. Ding. Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained a top-notch 5th stage one-time good luck card. After listening to the system's voice, Wang Meng was about to curse. But when he heard the last announcement, the gloominess in Wang Meng's heart was swept away, replaced by excitement. He had obtained a top-notch 5th stage good luck card again. Although it was a one-time use, the effect was very heaven-defying. Should he use this top-notch 5th stage good luck card immediately? After thinking for a while, Wang Meng shook his head in the end. This was because he had only accumulated 125 billion energy values. He was not sure if he could evolve twice after using the top-notch good luck card. If he had obtained the top-notch good luck card earlier, Wang Meng would definitely have used it without hesitation. But now he was only left with an Immortal King level blind box. He might not be able to obtain enough energy values to evolve twice. This was because even if he used the top-notch good luck card and the last blind box had hundreds of billions of energy values, it might still not be enough for him to evolve, unless he could obtain more than 100 billion. But this was not safe at all. Last time he used a top-notch 5th stage good luck card. An Immortal King level blind box only gave him less than 100 billion energy values. Thinking of this, Wang Meng decided that it would be safer to use this thing next time. Thinking of this, Wang Meng silently said in his heart, "System, open the Immortal King level blind box again." The next moment, the system's voice also sounded frowny-faced Ding. Congratulations, host. Successfully opened the Immortal King level blind box. Ding. Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained 100 million energy values? What the hell? Could it be that this Immortal King level blind box was really going to fail? After hearing the first prize, Wang Meng was completely flustered. This was the first time he opened an Immortal King level blind box with so little energy values. Therefore, Wang Meng was naturally a little flustered. After all, the first 3 boxes only gave him 25 billion energy values. If this Immortal King level blind box also failed, Wang Mang really wanted to cry, but had no tears. Just as Wang Mang was feeling apprehensive, the system's voice sounded for the second time, frowny-faced ding. Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained 200 million energy values. F*CK. F*CK your sister. 200 million energy values were all here? For a moment, Wang Mang was even more flustered. He felt that this Immortal King level blind box was probably done for. Another minute later, the system's voice sounded for the third time, frowny-faced ding. Congratulations, host. Obtained 300 million energy values. After hearing the announcement, Wang Mang was completely disappointed. At the same time, he didn't know what to say. After shaking his head helplessly, Wang Mang continued to wait for the next prize. Another minute later, the system's voice sounded for the fourth time, frowny-faced ding. Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained 400 million energy values. Hee. After hearing the announcement, the corner of Wang Mang's mouth twitched. Then, Wang Mang waited expressionlessly for the next prize. Soon, the system's voice sounded for the fifth time, frowny-faced ding. Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained 100 billion US dollars. Damn it. He was happy for nothing. When he heard 100 billion US dollars, Wang Mang was excited. In the end, he was given 100 billion US dollars. Was this any different from waste paper to him? Was he going to use it to wipe his ass? Just as Wang Mang was speechless, the system's voice sounded for the sixth time, frowny-faced ding. Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained 1,000. Chapter 802. The system's voice sounded for the sixth time, frowny-faced ding. Congratulations to the host. Successfully obtained 100 billion eagle yuan. Holy shit. Again? You made me happy for nothing again. After hearing the system's voice, Wang Mang was speechless. She was F*King teasing him. For a moment, Wang Mang was even more depressed. The amount was not small, but the problem was that it was not what he wanted. If there really was 100 billion energy values, Wang Mang would definitely be dancing with joy. Just as Wang Mang was feeling depressed, the system's voice sounded for the seventh time, frowny-faced ding. Congratulations to the host. Successfully obtained 100 billion gold ingots. Holy shit. System, don't go too far. What's the point of teasing me like this? After hearing the system open the lottery again, Wang Mang was furious. Originally, this batch of treasure chests and blind boxes was already very lousy. In the end, the system kept teasing him. The slogan was shouted loudly. In the end, it was useless to him. After another minute, the system's voice sounded for the eighth time, frowny-faced ding. Congratulations to the host. Successfully obtained 100 billion cold yuan. The system was such a dog. It was really going too far. The entire Immortal King level blind box had been teasing him. For a moment, Wang Mang could no longer hold back his anger. He had already started cursing the system in his heart. At this moment, the system's voice sounded for the ninth time, frowny-faced ding. Congratulations to the host. Successfully obtained 10 billion energy values. After hearing the system's ninth lottery, Wang Mang was stunned at first. Then he immediately cursed. F*CKU. After teasing me for so long, you just gave me 10 billion energy values? If you want to give me 100 billion energy values, I have nothing to say. Obviously, Wang Mang was still quite resentful towards this Immortal King level blind box, even though the last lottery had given him tens of billions of energy values. In fact, this Immortal King level blind box had given him 11 billion energy values. But in Wang Mang's opinion, this Immortal King level blind box was still too much. After all, for treasure chests and blind boxes, plus the original energy values. Only then did he accumulate 136 billion energy values. In other words, these 4 treasure chests only gave him 36 billion energy values. This was definitely the worst treasure chest and blind box he had ever opened. In his depressed mood, Wang Mang's mood was not good either. In the end, Wang Mang said gloomily in his heart, "System, begin the evolution." In the next moment, the system's voice sounded frowny-faced ding. Qigong, 100 billion energy values. Beginning evolution. Following that, Wang Mang completely. A few days later, only then did Wang Mang slowly awaken from his evolution. After opening his eyes, Wang Mang sized up his body, which was becoming more and more powerful and terrifying, and his eyes revealed a satisfied expression. He could feel that his strength was 3 times stronger than when his battle strength had reached the 5th heaven. The strength of each heaven increased in this way. No wonder the difference between the 1st heaven and the 2nd heaven determined life and death. Moreover, as Wang Mang's strength reached the battle strength of the 5th heaven of the Emperor God, his use of the law of the Tao could be said to be casual. Wang Mang couldn't help but feel suspicious. Could it be that the 6th rank mainly cultivated the power of the great Tao? After thinking for a while, Wang Mang withdrew his mind, because these were not things he needed to worry about right now. After all, Wang Mang's realm had not reached the Emperor God realm yet. Then, Wang Mang said in his heart, "System, open my personal information." Obviously, there were only 2 situations that required him to open his personal information now. The first was to count his gains, and the second was to see what he needed for his next evolution. The next moment, his personal information appeared before his eyes. Wang Mang, disciple of the quasi-saint, old ancestor Wanma. Type, ancient demonic python, limit 800 meters. Realm, 8th heaven of the Emperor God, legendary prodigy. Physique, HP 28,000, length 740 meters, width 36 meters, weight 130 million tons. Top divine powers, ancient demon tyrannical body, perfection. Devour God, perfection. 3 live supreme Buddha, perfection. Wrath of the demon god, perfection. Space, 1 bottle of oblivion water, 1 falling saint pill, 1 6 flavor emperor pill, 1 falling god cannon, 1 one-time top rank 5 bad luck card, 1 one-time top rank 5 good luck card. Equipment, top world multicolored stone X1, divine martial sword, immortal emperor mask, saint emperor mask, talent 420/1500. Energy value, 36 billion/150 billion. After reading his personal information, Wang Mang's face suddenly collapsed. Damn it. After breaking through once, the energy value needed had reached 150 billion. If it weren't for the fact that he still had a one-time top rank 5 good luck card, Wang Mang would have a headache. This was because the energy value required to break through would increase in an exaggerated manner the further one progressed. Even Wang Mang had a headache. After he reached rank 5, only the recent breakthrough was relatively smooth. In the past, it would take a period of time to break through once. Right at this moment, the system's voice sounded frowny-faced ding. The host's current situation has been detected. The host is given the following mission to choose. Mission 1. In the face of the chaotic world, ignore it. Choose to ignore it. Mission time, available upon selection. Mission reward, 10 billion energy value. Immortal King Treasure, Chest X1. Mission 2. In the face of the chaotic world, participate in it. Support Demon Ancestor Luo Ho to defeat Hong Jun. Mission time, available upon completion. Mission reward, 30 billion energy value. Immortal King Blind Box X1. Immortal King Treasure Chest X1. Mission 3. In the face of the chaotic world, participate in it. Support Dao Ancestor Hong Jun to defeat Luo Ho. Mission time, available upon completion. Mission reward, 30 billion energy value. Immortal King Blind Box X1. Immortal King Treasure Chest X1. Mission 4. In the face of the chaotic world, participate in it. Defeat Dao Ancestor Hong Jun and Demon Ancestor Luo Ho. Dominate the chaotic world. Mission time, available upon completion. Mission reward, 60 billion energy value. Immortal My Level Blind Box X2. Immortal King Treasure Chest X2. After listening to the mission issued by the system, Wang Mang couldn't help but be stunned again. What surprised him even more was that there was a change in the chaotic world. Logically speaking, shouldn't it be the journey to the west? Could it be that it was really because of his problem that the journey to the west was completely chaotic? After thinking about it, Wang Mang felt that it was really possible. After all, it was because of his interference. Sun Wukong was sent to hell. The Grand Master of Heaven was released from the Purple Cloud Palace by Wang Mang. Even demon ancestor Luo Ho was ready to make a move. It was hard to say if the journey to the west could continue normally. With this thought in mind, Wang Mang began to fall into deep thought. Which side should he choose to stand on? Chapter 803. The first mission was to freeload. Obviously, it was not desirable. The reward was too little. This little reward was simply to send a beggar away. As for the second mission, help Luo Ho defeat Hong Jun. And the third mission, help Hong Jun defeat Luo Ho. The rewards for these two missions were exactly the same. But in terms of difficulty, Wang Mang was really hard to say. After all, demon ancestor Luo Ho could invite foreign aid. But Dao ancestor Hong Jun was not bad either. In fact, Dao ancestor Hong Jun was even stronger than demon ancestor Luo Ho. He was strong to begin with, and he had even merged with the Dao. Wang Mang didn't know how powerful Dao ancestor Hong Jun was after fusing with the Dao. As for the fourth mission, Wang Mang did not consider it at all. Defeat all the experts in the entire primordial world. Although Wang Mang's strength had soared recently, and his battle strength had reached the sixth heaven of the divine emperor realm. But Wang Mang was not arrogant enough to conquer the primordial world. Clearly, Wang Mang still had some idea of what he was doing. With his strength, there was no limit to the sacred emperor continent, not to mention the primordial world. Hong Jun of the primordial world was plotting to reach rank 6. Thinking of this, Wang Mang was even more conflicted. Logically speaking, Wang Mang did not need to be conflicted. He could just choose to side with demon ancestor Luo Ho. But compared to Luo Ho, Wang Mang was more optimistic about Dao ancestor Hong Jun. No matter how impressive demon ancestor was, it was undeniable that he had once lost to Hong Jun. Who the hell knew if this guy could really stand up? What if he lost to Dao ancestor Hong Jun again? After hesitating for a long time, Wang Mang suddenly felt that it was better to freeload. Why? Although demon ancestor Luo Ho could ask for help without any restraint, it was hard to say who would win. What was worth mentioning was that Dao ancestor did not dare to ask for help, because atop great world, everyone wanted it. This was the basic condition to reach rank 6. He might as well wait for the two sides to fight. Then he would work hard to increase his strength. See if he had a chance to touch the primordial world, because this was the choice to maximize the benefits. As for the sacred emperor continent, Wang Mang had no thoughts. All right, the truth was he had no way of plotting against the sacred emperor continent. This was because he wasn't sure who the strongest prodigy hunter was. Were they eyeing the sacred emperor continent as well? There was no need to mention the strength of the strongest prodigy hunter. If he had set his eyes on the sacred emperor continent as a rank 6 talent, Wang Mang did not stand much of a chance if he set his sights on the sacred emperor continent, unless he had the strength to suppress the strongest heaven's chosen hunter. Thinking of this, Wang Mang felt very helpless. At the same time, he was speechless at himself. He had clearly not reached the peak of the God Emperor realm. However, he had thoughts about the primordial world. This was because Dao ancestor Hong Jun was still fiend ancestor Rao. Wang Mang still felt that they were easier to bully than the strongest prodigy hunters. It was not that Wang Mang looked down on fiend ancestor Rahu and Dao ancestor Hong Jun. These two people were definitely no match for the strongest prodigy hunter. Although they were experienced and had extraordinary backgrounds, they were not ordinary. But had he reached the level of a tier 5 legendary prodigy? No. However, the strongest prodigy hunter was about to reach the level of a legendary prodigy. If nothing went wrong, this guy would be a powerful guy on the path of conquering the heavens. After thinking of this, Wang Mang realized that he had an advantage over Dao ancestor Hongjun and fiend ancestor Luo Ho. That was because he was a legendary prodigy. After his strength reached the God Emperor realm, these two guys might not be able to compete with him. This was also the reason why Wang Mang dared to set his sights on the primordial world. With that thought, Wang Mang silently said in his heart, "System, I choose the first mission." In the next moment, the system's voice sounded frowny-faced ding. "Congratulations, host. Successfully completed the mission." Ding. "Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained 10 billion energy values." Ding. "Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained Immortal King Treasure Chest X1. After listening to the system's voice, Wang Mang nodded in his heart. Not bad. He had gotten another mission for free. As for the fact that he was already plotting against the primordial world, why not choose the fourth mission? Because now was not the time. Since that was the case, he might as well choose to get a free mission. It was better to put the reward in his pocket. In the next moment, Wang Mang slowly got up and walked out of the cave. Now, he only needed to enter the city, and he could basically complete the mission. By then, he would be able to receive another wave of rewards. Not bad, not bad. Thinking of this, Wang Mang's mood finally became much better. Then, Wang Mang soared into the sky and flew towards the city gate. Coincidentally or not, when Wang Mang arrived near the city gate, he saw a scene that made him happy. He saw that in the space enchantment. At this moment, there were still dozens of prodigies sealed in the enchantment. Li Qinglian and Ancestral Gregon were constantly hunting down the prodigies inside. Not bad, not bad. They were ready to eat as soon as they arrived. Thinking of this, Wang Mang almost laughed out loud. He immediately shouted, "Brother Ancestral Gregon, don't worry. Brother, I'm coming." After saying that, Wang Mang arrived at the city gate almost instantly and raised his hand to set up a bigger enchantment. Moreover, Wang Mang directly smashed the enchantment set up by Ancestral Gregon and Li Qinglian. This also allowed Wang Mang to successfully enter the enchantment. Seeing this scene, Ancestral Gregon and Li Qinglian's faces darkened. They were very dissatisfied that Wang Mang directly joined the hunt for the prodigies as soon as he arrived. After all, they had been blocking the city for more than 10 days to gather these prodigies. They had just started hunting. However, Wang Mang came. It was as if they had prepared a banquet at home. Just as they were about to eat, Wang Mang came. It was really better to come at the right time than to come early. Unfortunately, after seeing Wang Mang, whose strength had greatly increased, although Li Qinglian and Ancestral Gregon did not look too good, they did not say anything. After all, the three of them were still allies in name. Similarly, they also believed that there was no need for Wang Mang to hide and wait for them to surround the prodigies before appearing. Because with Wang Mang's strength, there was no need for him to do such shameless things. In the next moment, Wang Mang's gaze swept across the group of prodigies who were frightened and angry at the same time. Wang Mang roughly counted in his heart. There were a total of 56 prodigies. It was quite a number. He would just eat 28 prodigies. Thinking of this, Wang Mang immediately transformed into the body of a giant python and charged towards the group of prodigies without restraint. Because these prodigies were too weak, the strongest among them only had the battle power of a fourth heaven emperor god. In front of Wang Mang's battle power of a sixth heaven emperor god and Li Qinglian's battle power of a fifth heaven emperor god, they were not worth mentioning at all. Kill. We will die. We will not surrender. That's right. Kill them. Kill one and make a profit. Kill two and make a big profit. That's right. Even if we die, we will drag one of them down with us. In an instant, the prodigies were enraged and attacked with all their might. Divine abilities that covered the sky and covered the earth swept towards Wang Mang like raindrops. However, in the next moment, something that made all the prodigies dumbfounded happened. Their divine abilities that covered the sky and covered the earth with all their might were completely ineffective against Wang Mang. They saw that Wang Mang had easily withstood their full-powered attacks, and opened his bloody mouth to charge at them. He simply did not take their attack seriously. It was not an exaggeration to say that he simply ignored them. Chapter 804. Damn it, how is this possible? Is a sixth guy of the great god realm really that strong? That's impossible. Even a sixth heaven emperor god wouldn't be able to ignore our attacks. Looks like this guy's defensive divine ability is very powerful. He's not afraid of our attacks at all. Damn it, everyone dodge. This guy wants to eat us. In an instant, the excited group of geniuses went from being dumbfounded to panicking. Wang Mang was like a wolf in a flock of sheep, scaring these geniuses and causing them to dodge and panic. What else could they do other than dodge? The divine ability they used with all their might couldn't hurt Wang Mang. To them, this was simply not harmful at all, and it was extremely humiliating. Unfortunately, while these geniuses were dodging in a sorry state, there were still some geniuses who couldn't escape. Moreover, the difference in strength was too great. Wang Mang directly swallowed 6 geniuses in one gulp. This simply scared countless geniuses so much that their faces turned pale. They were all terrified. Unfortunately, they couldn't do anything at all. They wanted to attack Wang Mang crazily. But when they thought of how they couldn't hurt Wang Mang at all when they attacked with all their might earlier, therefore, they didn't even have the thought of resisting. Because when facing Wang Mang, they felt powerless. This was a kind of complete despair. On the other hand, Ancestral Gregon and Li Qinglian were easier to deal with. Then, something that often happened in the past happened. Li Qinglian and Ancestral Gregon were jointly attacked by the geniuses. Wang Mang was in charge of swallowing the geniuses. In less than an hour, Wang Mang successfully swallowed 28 geniuses. Then, under the furious gazes of Ancestral Gregon and Li Qinglian, only then did Wang Mang return to his human form and choose to stop. Ancestral Gregon was relieved to see this scene. This proved that Wang Mang was still keeping his promise. But at this moment, Wang Mang suddenly felt a terrifying, oppressive might engulf the entire world. This terrifying pressure even caused the spirit formation that Wang Mang had set up to collapse. Then, countless heaven's favorites were on the verge of collapsing under this terrifying pressure. They all tried their best to use their auras and power of laws to resist this pressure. At the same time, Wang Mang also felt as if someone was sitting on top of him. The pressure was very obvious. In the next moment, Wang Mang hurriedly looked over. At the All-Heavens teleportation gate in the distance, a purple figure stepped out of the All-Heavens teleportation gate. This guy's aura had reached the level of peak Emperor God. Even the Ancestral Dragon and Li Qinglian stopped hunting the geniuses after seeing the figure. If Wang Mang's guess was correct, this guy's aura was also that of a legendary prodigy. But the problem was that this fellow was too strong. He had the aura of a peak God Emperor. This was the second peak God Emperor genius that Wang Mang had seen. Although this guy's aura was not as strong as the strongest prodigy hunter, but there was no doubt that his battle strength had reached the level of a peak God Emperor. This was not something that Wang Mang could compare to. At this moment, this prodigy had already flown over. He sized up Wang Mang and the others with an indifferent expression. Then, this extremely handsome purple-robed prodigy immediately made his move. He raised his hand, and the terrifying power of laws condensed into a space spirit formation. In an instant, the surrounding space was sealed. Even Wang Mang was inside the space spirit formation. Seeing this scene, regardless of whether it was Wang Mang, Li Qinglian, or the Ancestral Dragon, their expressions all changed greatly. Because they often hunted prodigies, of course, they knew what the space spirit formation was trying to do. Obviously, this purple-robed prodigy wanted to hunt all the prodigies present, including Wang Mang and the rest. This caused Wang Mang's expression to become incomparably ugly. After all, he did not expect that after hunting prodigies all day long, he would be hunted again one day. At the same time, Wang Mang also began to think of a way to escape. He knew that he, the ancestral dragon, and the rest were definitely the targets that this purple-robed prodigy paid attention to. The three of them were all legendary prodigies, but the difference in their strength was too obvious. Even Wang Mang, who was the strongest, was only at the 6th heaven of the Emperor God realm. He was still too far away from the 9th heaven of the Emperor God realm. Could it be that he had to forcefully increase his strength? Thinking of this, Wang Mang shook his head and rejected this idea. It was not worth it to force a battle. If that was the case, the price to pay would be too high. Now, Wang Mang needed hundreds of billions of energy points to break through just one heaven. If he fought a battle, it would easily cost hundreds of billions of energy points. In a situation where there were no benefits. To Wang Mang, this was simply a devastating disaster. Just look at the ancestral dragon. He had not recovered yet, and this was under the situation where he had devoured so many prodigies. With a lesson learned from the past, Wang Mang was, of course, unwilling to forcefully increase his strength to fight. But if he did not increase his strength, he could only choose to enter the city. But to enter the city, he had to be able to. But this guy had set up a spatial enchantment. It did not give him any leeway at all, unless he could break the spatial enchantment. Otherwise, he could only fight with this guy. Just as Wang Mang was in a difficult position, the ancestral dragon's voice rang in his ears. Wang Mang, I'll lend you the God Emperor mask and Devil Emperor mask later. You break the enchantment first. We'll escape into the city together. Hearing that, Wang Mang's eyes lit up. If the God Emperor mask and Devil Emperor mask in the ancestral dragon's hands were merged, with the addition of battle power, Wang Mang could really fight with this guy. After all, in Wang Mang's opinion, if these two masks could be merged, his battle power could increase by 2 heavens or even 3 heavens. Thinking of this, Wang Mang quickly replied, "Okay, give me the masks." With the addition of these 2 masks, it's not difficult to break the enchantment. Just as he finished speaking, Wang Mang's mask, which was the fusion of the God Emperor mask and Devil Emperor mask, appeared in his hands. Wang Mang was stunned at first, then he directly put it on his face. Then, something magical happened. The 2 masks turned into white light and instantly rushed into Wang Mang's mask. Then, the mask on Wang Mang's face became a purple gold mask. At the same time, Wang Mang's spirit was enveloped by a white light, and his aura started to rise crazily. In just a short while, Wang Mang's aura reached the peak of the 6th heaven of Emperor God. However, Wang Mang's terrifying aura was still rising crazily. 7th heaven of Emperor God. 7th heaven of Emperor God. 8th heaven of Emperor God. 8th heaven of Emperor God. P.S. Dear readers, you need to know, Peerless can increase by 1 heavens. Exceptional can increase by 2 heavens. Matchless can increase by 3 heavens. Legend can increase by 4 heavens. Myth can increase by 5 heavens. Supreme can increase by 7 to 9 heavens. 9th heaven of Emperor God. Supreme talent equals 5th stage perfection. Supreme talent equals 5th stage supreme talent equals 5th stage supreme talent. After one's battle power reached the peak of Emperor God, any external items or treasures would lose their effect and could not be used to increase one's battle power. For the 1st to 9th stage supreme talent, one could rely on one's own realm and supreme talent realm. One could not rely on external items to increase their battle power. Chapter 805. When Wang Mang's aura reached the peak of the 8th heaven of the Emperor God realm, Wang Mang's aura finally stabilized. Obviously, after the 4 masks merged, it gave him a boost of power equivalent to the 5th heavenly layer, although it couldn't be compared to 2 masks with the battle power of the 3rd heaven. But to be able to combine 4 masks with the battle power of the 5th heaven, this already made Wang Mang very shocked. That was because this was equivalent to the combination of the 4 masks to create a legendary genius. Such a rank 5 treasure was simply too heaven-defying. No, Wang Mang even guessed. After the 4 masks merged, this had already reached the level of a pseudo rank 6 treasure. After all, every mask was a rank 5 treasure. After merging, it couldn't still be a rank 5 treasure. Although Wang Mang had doubts in his heart. But now was obviously not the time to think too much. After regaining his senses, Wang Mang's originally solemn expression also became calm. Because after his battle power reached the peak of the 8th heaven of the Emperor God realm, Wang Mang could feel that the purple-robed genius in front of him didn't give him such a strong sense of oppression. At the same time, Wang Mang guessed that this guy's battle power should have reached the 9th heaven of the Emperor God realm. Although, with such strength, Wang Mang still couldn't win against him. But Wang Mang admitted that if the other party wanted to kill him, he would have to forcefully increase his strength. At the same time, the purple-robed genius, who didn't take these geniuses seriously at all, he looked at Wang Mang with a slightly surprised gaze. He saw Wang Mang's every move. What he didn't expect was that among these ants, there was such a treasure. It was a pity that this kind of treasure that could increase strength was no longer useful to him. Because after his battle power reached the 9th heaven of the Emperor God realm, no other treasures could increase his battle power. Only when the geniuses were stronger, or when their cultivation reached a higher level, could his battle power become stronger. And this kind of treasure that could increase his battle power, he once had it, but he sold it. Because this treasure that could increase his battle power was no longer useful to him. His original realm had reached the 6th heaven of the Emperor God realm. On top of that, he was a legendary prodigy. It allowed his battle prowess to reach the 9th heaven of the God Emperor realm. But if he wanted to reach the first level of the Lameter realm, any external force would be useless. The only thing that mattered was one's own strength. The so-called First Firmament Extreme Realm was surpassing the 9th Firmament Divine Emperor Realm. However, for the geniuses, the strongest could reach the 9th level of the Extreme Realm. This was also the limit of one's own cultivation realm. When the heaven's chosen realm reached the limit, it was achieved. For example, a supreme genius at the 9th level of the God Emperor Realm was a supreme genius at the 9th level of the Extreme Realm. Thus, the 9th heavenly layer of the Extreme Realm in itself represented a 5th level Great Circle Supreme Being. He had maxed out his own realm. He had maxed out his heavenly sun level. This was the 9th level of the Lameter realm. After a moment of silence, the purple-robed genius looked at Wang Mang and nodded indifferently. You may leave. Obviously, Wang Mang, whose battle power had reached the peak of the 8th sky of Emperor God realm, was still no match for him. However, he was indeed qualified to leave, because if he wanted to kill Wang Mang, he had to pay the price. However, he came to the path of the myriad realms to become stronger, not to pay the price. Hearing that, Wang Mang secretly heaved a sigh of relief. He was afraid that this guy would not let him go no matter what. Hence, this guy took the initiative to let him go. This was naturally the best for Wang Mang. In the next moment, Wang Mang did not hesitate. He raised his hand, and a terrifying power of law blasted a hole in the enchantment. Then ancestral Gragon and Li Qinglian instantly flew toward the enchantment that collapsed. Seeing that, the purple-robed genius sneered. I said that he can leave. I didn't say that you can leave. After saying that, the purple-robed genius immediately stretched out his hand. The terrifying power of law transformed into a giant hand and grabbed toward ancestral Gragon and Li Qinglian. Seeing that, Wang Mang was helpless. He directly used all his strength to control the power of law and condensed it into a fist shadow and blasted it toward the giant hand. At the same time, after seeing that Wang Mang had blocked the attack, ancestral Gragon and Li Qinglian did not hesitate to seize the opportunity and rushed out of the enchantment. They instantly ran into the city. Rumble. After the collision of the power of law with the fist and the palm, the terrifying remaining power wreaked havoc, causing many geniuses to dodge in fear. One of the Sky Prides was even blasted to death by the terrifying aftershock. Seeing that, the purple-robed genius looked at Wang Mang coldly and said, "What do you mean? I asked you to leave, but you let the two of them go. Do you really think that I can't suppress you?" Hearing this, Wang Mang's face was filled with helplessness. Fellow cultivator, I admit defeat. However, I had no choice but to save them. The two of them are like brothers to me. I can't just watch them die. After hearing Wang Mang's words, the purple-robed genius snorted coldly. After a moment of silence, the purple-robed genius stood with his hands behind his back. He looked down at Wang Mang from above and said indifferently, "Since you have a reason for doing this and don't have any ill intentions, you can get lost." Hearing that, Wang Mang suddenly felt very aggrieved, but there was nothing he could do. He could not defeat the other party, and his strength was not as good as the other party. Compared to the other party who relied on his own strength to have such combat strength, he was just a paper tiger piled up by the four masks. Therefore, Wang Mang suppressed his anger and forced a smile. "Thank you, fellow cultivator." After saying that, Wang Mang prepared to leave. The geniuses in the distance all cried for help in horror. "Fellow cultivator, don't leave us behind." "Yes, fellow cultivator, save us." "I'm willing to bow down to you." "Fellow cultivator, save us." Obviously, these geniuses also knew what they were going to face next. Therefore, even though they knew that calling for help from Wang Mang was useless, they still had a glimmer of hope. Unfortunately, they were destined to be disappointed. Wang Mang was now like a clay Buddha crossing a river. He could not even protect himself. How could he save them? If not for the fact that the current situation did not allow it. Wang Mang could not wait to kill them. Therefore, in response to these geniuses' cries for help, Wang Mang pretended not to hear them. He tore a hole in the space barrier and went out. Then, Wang Mang stepped into the city without hesitation. In the next moment, Wang Mang had just stepped into the city when he heard a few screams. When he turned around, Wang Mang saw a scene that made his scalp tingle. The purple-robed genius slowly opened his mouth, and a terrifying suction force appeared. The geniuses screamed in horror as they were sucked into his mouth. Even the geniuses with the combat strength of a god emperor could not escape from being swallowed by the purple-robed genius. In the blink of an eye, more than 20 geniuses were swallowed by the purple-robed genius. Seeing this scene, Wang Mang suddenly felt very bitter. Although he had originally planned to enter the city, there was a difference between him entering the city voluntarily and being chased into the city, because he did not even find a teammate to fight against the Nightmare Alliance. In the end, he was forced to enter the city like a duck on a perch. Thinking of this, Wang Mang could not help but feel angry. At this moment, the system's voice sounded. "Ding! Congratulations, host. Mission successfully completed." "Ding! Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained 10 billion energy points." "Ding! Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained an immortal king-level blind box, X1." "Ding! Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained an immortal king-level treasure box, X1." Chapter 806. After hearing the system's voice, only then did Wang Mang's pent-up anger subside slightly. Damn it, it was finally a little comforting. He had already accumulated 2 treasure chests and a blind box. In addition, he had the top-notch 5th rank one-time good luck card. If he really wanted to improve his strength urgently, he could continue to cultivate in seclusion. However, Wang Mang was not in a hurry. He had to find out the situation in the city. Of course, Wang Mang was very upset with the purple-robed prodigy. He was still very upset. He even wanted to turn around and say something harsh to the other party. "I'll remember you. I'll suppress you with one hand in the future." However, when he thought about how the other party's combat strength was far superior to his, Wang Mang finally gave up the idea of saying harsh words. At this time, Li Qinglian, an ancestral Gregon, quickly walked up from the city. "How are you? Are you hurt? This guy is very powerful. Let's swallow this anger for the time being." At this moment, Li Qinglian and ancestral Gregon both comforted him. Of course, they could also see that Wang Mang's face was very gloomy. Needless to say, he was obviously very angry. But weren't they the same? After all, they were also legendary prodigies. Now that they were humiliated like this, how could they not be angry? Hearing this, Wang Mang nodded with a sullen expression and said, "Don't worry, it's just a little bit of anger. I can still hold it in." While speaking, Wang Mang separated the four masks. Then, he returned the Divine Emperor mask and the Demon Emperor mask to Ancestral Gragon. After receiving the mask, Ancestral Gragon put it on his face and said softly, "Let's go together. Let's find out the situation in the city first, then make plans." Hearing this, Wang Mang also nodded. Then, the three of them walked together into the depths of the city. It was worth mentioning that there were not many prodigies in this seemingly spacious city. The number of prodigies walking on the streets of the city was sparse, and there were only a few hundred of them. Moreover, what surprised Wang Mang and the other two was that this city was too small. In fact, it was not even half the size of the former Myriad Demon City. This city is really strange. Why don't I see any geniuses gathering here? I once heard from the older generation that the path of Myriad Worlds has a total of 15 cities. The third city is the first stage. The sixth city is the second stage. The ninth stage will be the third stage. The 12th city is the fourth stage. The 15th city is the fifth stage. This should be the first city. I guess most of the Sky Prides are in the third city. If you can pass through the third city, you'll be able to enter the second stage. Moreover, the city is just a stronghold. Fighting is prohibited, so it can only be considered as a foothold. Maybe they're all in the wilderness outside the city. Compared to Ancestral Gragon's confusion, Li Qinglian explained slowly. Clearly, he was fighting on the path of the Myriad Worlds. He knew much more than Wang Mang and Ancestral Gragon. Hearing this, Wang Mang and Ancestral Gragon came to a realization. However, at this moment, a few geniuses on the street in the distance were walking toward Wang Mang and the other two. The leading genius had a very powerful aura. Although he was only a peerless genius, his battle strength had reached the seventh sky of the Emperor God Realm. In other words, this guy's cultivation level was very high. He had left Wang Mang and the other two far behind him. Similarly, the two geniuses beside him had also reached the peerless genius realm. Their battle strength was at the fifth and sixth sky of the Emperor God Realm. Moreover, Wang Mang felt a strong hostility from the three of them. At this moment, Wang Mang had already arrived in front of him. The leading young man even sneered at Wang Mang. "You bastard! Are you the one who killed Luo Tianqing's third brother?" Hearing this, Wang Mang was stunned at first. Then, he came to a realization. Indeed, there is no such thing as hatred or love for no reason. This guy might be related to Luo Tianqing. Thinking of this, Wang Mang immediately stood up with his hands behind his back and sneered. "Are you Luo Tianqing's dog?" Hearing Wang Mang's words, the leading genius was so angry that his face turned purple. On the other hand, the two young elites beside him were enraged and scolded him. "Bastard, how dare you insult the three heroes of the North? Believe it or not, we'll kill you on the spot. Ents, how dare you contend against us? We've been in the path of the heavens for so many years. How dare you compare yourself with us?" Hearing this, before Wang Mang could speak, Ancestral Gragon and Li Qinglian mocked him. "We're so scared. If you have the ability, why don't you kill us? Come on, kill us on the spot." Although Wang Mang was the source of their hatred, Ancestral Gragon and Li Qinglian were not going to stand by and do nothing. After all, the three of them were in an alliance. Besides, the three heroes of the North were too arrogant. They actually killed them on the spot. Did they really think that they were country bumpkins who did not know anything? Sure enough, after hearing Ancestral Gragon and Li Qinglian's mockery, the three heroes of the North turned serious. The faces of the three heroes of Beijun were gloomy. The leader of the three elites gritted his teeth and said, "Don't worry. Very well. I'll remember you. You better not leave the city. Otherwise, Luo Tianqing won't have to do anything. The three heroes of the North will kill all of you." After saying that, the leading North looked at Wang Mang with a murderous look, waved his hand, and left. The three heroes of the North had stayed in the first city for a long time. In addition, the three brothers had extraordinary strength. Moreover, their background was in the Sixth City, and they had the support of the North Arch. Moreover, they would not be stupid enough to offend powerful geniuses. Therefore, they were like fish in water in the First City. As for the news of killing Wang Mang, it was news from Luo Tiansheng, who was in the Third City, and the reward was not small. Therefore, the three heroes of the North naturally accepted this task and prepared to kill Wang Mang. The feud between the two sides had been formed. At this moment, Wang Mang's face was gloomy as he watched the three heroes of the North leave. He felt that he had been humiliated. Even the King, unparalleled geniuses dared to show off in front of him. How dare they? He was a legendary genius after all. In the end, he was threatened by three ants. One could imagine the anger in his heart. Ancestral Gragon and Li Qinglian did not look too good either. They were threatened by geniuses who were one level lower than them. To them, it was a great humiliation. These two Min bastards. This emperor must kill them all. They're just a few dogs. How dare they be so presumptuous to us legendary geniuses? Li Qinglian and Ancestral Gragon were also full of murderous intent. At the same time, Wang Mang was about to speak. The system's voice sounded again. Ding! Detected the host's current situation. The host is given the following mission to choose from. Mission number 1. Face the arrogant Luo Tiansheng and the Nightmare Alliance. Choose to retreat and admit defeat. Mission time. Available upon selection. Mission reward. 10 billion energy points. Immortal level blind box X1. Mission number 2. Face the arrogant Luo Tiansheng and the Nightmare Alliance and kill Luo Tiansheng. Mission time. Available upon completion. Mission reward. 20 billion energy points. Immortal King level blind box X1. Immortal King level treasure chest X1. Mission number 3. Face the arrogant Luo Tiansheng and the Nightmare Alliance and kill all the members of the Nightmare Alliance. Mission time. Available upon completion. Mission reward. 80 billion energy points. Immortal King level blind box X1. Immortal King level treasure chest X1. Chapter 807. After listening to the system's voice, Wang Mang, who was originally full of anger, was suddenly stunned. This mission was really issued at the right time, because his hatred for Luo Tiansheng had not decreased. If the purple-robed genius was to Wang Mang, if his attitude was indeed arrogant, then this Luo Tiansheng was too arrogant. The purple-robed genius was arrogant to Wang Mang. He was stronger than Wang Mang, so he could accept it. But Luo Tiansheng, a little brat, dared to be so arrogant to him. This was simply a slap in his face. If Luo Tiansheng was to be so arrogant to Wang Mang, the insult would not be so great. Wang Mang would not be so angry. But even a lackey dared to be so arrogant to him. How could Wang Mang tolerate him? Therefore, among the three missions, the first mission was to endure. Obviously, it was impossible. As a legendary genius, Wang Mang also had his own pride. Therefore, he could not choose to endure and admit defeat. Therefore, the first mission was ruled out. As for the second mission, it was worth Wang Mang's consideration. But Wang Mang knew that this so-called Nightmare Alliance was bound to affect the whole situation. If he wanted to kill Luo Tiansheng, the Nightmare Alliance would not stand by and watch. Thinking of this, Wang Mang made a decision in his heart. He immediately gritted his teeth and silently said, "System, I choose the third mission." The next moment, the system's voice sounded frowny-faced ding. "Congratulations, host. Successfully selected the mission. Please complete the mission as soon as possible to receive the reward." After hearing the system's voice, Wang Mang's heart suddenly sank. Although he gritted his teeth and accepted the mission, but it did not mean that this mission was easy to complete. 5 legendary geniuses with the battle strength of peak emperor gods. Wang Mang actually still felt some pressure. After all, his current battle strength was only at the 6th sky of Emperor God. This was not counting Wang Mang's own realm had not even reached Emperor God. However, Wang Mang still had some confidence in himself. Although he only had the battle prowess of a 6th Heavenly Layer God Emperor, he was still a 6th Heavenly Layer God Emperor. However, with 3 blind treasure chests and a top-tier Tier 5 good luck card, he would definitely be able to break through a small realm. In addition, the 6 Flavor Emperor pill would definitely help him break through a small realm. If he was really in a hurry, he could have found a place to go into seclusion and break through. Thinking of this, his originally heavy mood also dissipated a lot. Although the enemy was strong, he himself was not weak either. Let's go. Wang Mang, take a look around. At this moment, Ancestral Graygon, who had adjusted his emotions, said softly. Hearing this, Li Qinglian and Wang Mang both nodded. The 3 of them walked together and started to wander around the city. A few days later, Wang Mang and the other 2 finally understood. He had a rough idea of the situation in the first city. The first city was not far from the second city. As long as they did not enter the second city, they could return to the first city at any time. The short journey from the first city to the second city was still a barren forest. Moreover, there were quite a number of prodigies active in this forest. Why? The first was to search for opportunities. The second was to hunt each other. One could say that all the prodigies who entered the path of conquering the myriad worlds, not a single one of them did not know about the prodigies hunting and devouring each other. Hence, in this short journey from the first city to the second city, the barren mountain range was filled with killing intent. The majority of the prodigies would not choose to stay in the first city. On the contrary, there were too many people intercepting them at the entrance of the second city. As for why they intercepted them, naturally, it was because they wanted to hunt each other. Hence, this increased the difficulty of entering the second city. Furthermore, Wang Mang and the other 2 had once visited the entrance of the second city. There were close to 1,000 prodigies there. It was common to see them in groups of 3 to 5. There were all sorts of alliances. None of them were strong enough to suppress them. Why? Because these fellows were not weak. The majority of them had reached the middle stage God Emperor realm. This naturally meant that there were many late-stage God Emperor realm prodigies. Therefore, he wanted to kill them directly? That was simply too difficult. Hence, this resulted in a strange situation at the entrance of the second city. Most of the prodigies at the entrance followed the rules and lived peacefully with each other. But the moment they left the entrance and entered the 2 barren mountain ranges by the side of the road, life and death were unknown. Honestly speaking, after seeing so many prodigies, Wang Mang was simply envious. He wished he could kill all these prodigies. If he could do so, he might even be able to enter the mythological realm. But it's a pity that this was just a thought. After inquiring about the news, on the 6th day, Wang Mang and the other 2 left the first city. But the moment Wang Mang and the others left the first city, they bumped into the 3 heroes of the North Hero. The 3 of them were currently looking at them with a savage grin. It was not just the 3 heroes of the North Hero. Many prodigies nearby, when they saw Wang Mang and the other 2, they revealed a look of greed. This was mainly because Wang Mang and the others were too weak. They were legend prodigies and were valuable. In the eyes of these unparalleled prodigies, a legend prodigy was worth 50 days of talent. Hence, Wang Mang and the other 2 were like walking talents, even if they were also legendary level prodigies. Similarly, they were looking at Wang Mang and the others with evil intentions, because these 3 legend prodigies were too weak. Although there weren't many legend prodigies present, but which legend prodigy didn't have the strength of a late-stage God Emperor? But Wang Mang and the other 2 were only middle-stage God Emperors. They were like cranes in a flock of chickens. They were simply too conspicuous, seeing the evil gazes of the others. Wang Mang and the other 2 felt their hearts sink. These guys were looking at them with greed and killing intent. How could they hide from Wang Mang and the others? After all, they had hunted down quite a number of prodigies. They were all too familiar with this gaze of looking at prey. At this moment, Li Qinglian's voice sounded in their ears. What should we do? Why don't we return to the city first? There are too many prodigies eyeing us. When he heard this, Wang Mang immediately refused and sent a voice transmission. Absolutely not. If we return to the first city, we won't be able to increase our strength. Fighting is not allowed in the city. Even though escaping from battle can solve the problem, it's ultimately not a long-term solution. Clearly, Wang Mang didn't want to retreat. If they returned to the city one step behind, they would fall behind. This wasn't what Wang Mang wanted. Furthermore, Wang Mang had made a decision in his heart. Similarly, he already had a way to deal with this. At this moment, the leader of the three heroes of the North Hero. He even revealed a sinister smile at Wang Mang and the other two. You three dogs really dare to leave the city. If you're afraid of death, hurry up and return to the city. If you're not afraid of death, you can try entering the great wilderness. Let's see if I dare or not. I'll break your legs. Chapter 808. After hearing Bei Feng's words, whether it was Wang Mang, Ancestral Gragon, or Li Qinglian, the three of them were enraged. Ancestral Gragon and Li Qinglian, who were still hesitating, immediately gave up on retreating into the city. If they retreated today, they would be blocked by the three heroes of Bei June the moment they left the first city. In the long run, not only would their cultivation stagnate, but they would also become the laughingstock of other prodigies. To Ancestral Gragon, who had become a legendary prodigy, this was a great humiliation. He could not tolerate it. Moreover, Ancestral Gragon and Li Qinglian also had their trump cards. They just did not want to use them, because the price they had to pay was too high. They could become legendary prodigies. Naturally, they had their own strengths. Moreover, even if they did not have to pay the price, they were confident that they could kill the three heroes of Bei June. Ancestral Gragon knew that as long as he continued to lend the mask to Wang Mang, then Wang Mang would be able to kill the three heroes of Bei June. Therefore, Ancestral Gragon laughed in anger. You three dogs of Bei June are really arrogant. We'll know who broke whose legs after we try. Do you really think we're afraid of you? Li Qinglian's face darkened. Do you really think we became legendary prodigies by luck? If we pay the price, we can still kill all of you. Hearing that, Wang Mang added coldly, if you're not afraid of death, just follow us. Just follow us. After saying that, Wang Mang waved his hand and flew towards the forest in the distance. Seeing this scene, Ancestral Gragon and Li Qinglian followed closely behind. Similarly, the three heroes of Bei June sneered. You're courting death. As soon as they finished speaking, they followed without hesitation. Obviously, they did not take Ancestral Gragon and Li Qinglian's threat seriously. At the same time, they could not stop the killing intent and greed in their hearts. After all, as long as they killed Wang Mang and the other two, they would be able to obtain a considerable amount of talent points. Even if they could not kill Wang Mang, killing Ancestral Gragon and Li Qinglian would be good enough. This was obviously what the three heroes of Bei June were thinking. They did not expect to be able to kill Wang Mang and the other two in one go. Even if he had to kill Wang Mang and the other two several times, it would still be fine. But what they didn't know was, as soon as they left, many geniuses had different expressions on their faces as they heard the news. These geniuses were naturally late-stage God-Emperor geniuses. Only they had the confidence to kill Wang Mang and the other geniuses. Of course, there were also middle-stage God-Emperor geniuses. They hesitated for a moment before chasing after him in groups of 3 to 5. At this moment, Wang Mang was flying towards the depths of the great desolate jungle. Naturally, he could feel the aura of the Emperor God experts behind him. This caused Wang Mang's heart to feel heavy, and even his scalp to feel numb. He didn't expect that there were at least dozens of sky prides targeting them. This also meant that Wang Mang's strength was not enough, unless he had the support of the ancestral dragon mask. Wang Mang, who had the strength of an 8th heaven god emperor, could stand firm. Of course, the prerequisite was that he didn't have the strength of a peak 8th heaven god emperor. Even those with the strength of a 9th heaven god emperor were targeting them. Once they were targeted by those with the strength of a ninth heaven god emperor. And if there were more than two of them, Wang Meng could only run. Oh my god, I hope there won't be two strong geniuses. Otherwise, I'll really have to run. At this moment, Wang Meng muttered helplessly in his heart, because if he really couldn't do anything about it, then Wang Meng would not only run, but he might even betray his teammates. At this moment, the three heroes of Beijing behind him started mocking him. Why, you three dogs, are you trying to tire us to death by running all the way here? Haha, aren't you ashamed? You're still a legendary genius, but you're being chased by us, the peerless geniuses. Didn't you say you wanted to kill the three heroes of Beijing? Why are you running so fast now? After hearing this, Ancestral Gregon and Li Qinglian were immediately enraged. Then, they sent a voice transmission to Wang Meng. Wang Meng, take out the Immortal Emperor Mask and the God Emperor Mask. I'll take out the God Emperor Mask and the Demon Emperor Mask and lend them to Li Qinglian. With the support of the four masks, Li Qinglian's battle strength will at least reach the peak of Ninth Heaven God Emperor. By then, killing the three heroes of Beijing will be a piece of cake. We can even rely on Li Qinglian's battle strength to kill and devour more geniuses and gain a lot of talent points. After hearing Ancestral Gregon's voice transmission, Wang Meng was stunned. He naturally guessed Ancestral Gregon's plan. Obviously, Ancestral Gregon thought that lending the God Emperor Mask and the Demon Emperor Mask to him wouldn't make the most of it. On the contrary, if Li Qinglian had the support of the four masks, her battle strength would naturally reach the peak of Emperor God Emperor. By then, it would be impossible for these geniuses to hunt them down. But Ancestral Gregon had neglected a problem. What if there were geniuses with the battle strength of peak Emperor God Emperors? What if there were two geniuses with the battle strength of peak Emperor God Emperors? By then, Li Qinglian, who had the support of the four masks, might be fine. But he and Ancestral Gregon would be in a desperate situation. Therefore, Wang Meng naturally wouldn't agree to Ancestral Gregon's request. On the contrary, Wang Meng directly replied with a voice transmission. Brother Ancestral Gregon, lend me the God Emperor Mask and the Demon Emperor Mask. You have a good relationship with him. You believe in Li Qinglian, but I don't believe in him. Ancestral Gregon instantly became anxious. If Wang Meng didn't agree, they wouldn't be able to resist these geniuses. Ancestral Gregon wasn't stupid. He obviously guessed that the geniuses targeting them weren't just the three heroes of Beijing. The three heroes of Beijing might just be an appetizer. Thinking of this, he suggested to Wang Meng to lend the masks to Li Qinglian. Because Li Qinglian had the support of the four masks, her battle strength was stronger than Wang Meng's. But what made Ancestral Gregon helpless and anxious was Wang Meng refused without hesitation. Helpless, he could only send a voice transmission. Okay, friend Ancestral Gregon, I'll lend you the masks later. Remember to protect me. I don't want to pay the price to increase my battle strength again. Obviously, after the previous battle to increase his battle strength and the heavy losses. Ancestral Gregon really didn't want to do it again. Hearing this, Wang Meng heaved a sigh of relief. As long as Ancestral Gregon was willing to lend him the masks, then he would be in an invincible position. Even if the situation was more dangerous this time, Wang Meng didn't have to worry at all. Even if there were geniuses with the battle strength of peak Emperor God, Wang Meng could advance and retreat freely. If there were too many peak Emperor God geniuses, Wang Meng would even take the God Emperor Mask and the Demon Emperor Mask, give up on Li Qinglian and Ancestral Gregon, and choose to escape directly. Chapter 809. Obviously, if he had no other choice, Wang Meng would definitely not hesitate to abandon his teammates. After all, Wang Meng naturally understood that it was better for him to die than for himself to die. At the same time, Wang Meng also knew that he had to improve his strength as soon as possible. Otherwise, it would be difficult for him to survive in the path of conquering worlds. Of course, if the situation was optimistic, Wang Mang would definitely not abandon Ancestral Gragon and Li Qinglian. At this moment, Ancestral Gragon suddenly took off his mask and said, "Catch!" Hearing this, Wang Mang raised his head and saw Ancestral Gragon throw the mask over. Wang Mang immediately grabbed the mask and put it on without hesitation. At the same time, his battle strength also began to skyrocket. Peak of the 6th heaven of the Emperor God Realm. 7th heaven of the Emperor God Realm. Peak of the 7th heaven of the Emperor God Realm. 8th heaven of the Emperor God Realm. Peak of the 8th heaven of the Emperor God Realm. When Wang Mang's battle strength rose to the peak of the 8th heaven of the Emperor God Realm, it stopped this time. Then, Wang Mang instantly stopped and stared coldly at the three heroes. The three heroes, who were originally chasing excitedly, were stunned. Then, their faces were filled with disbelief. But soon, they guessed something and their faces were filled with horror. This is definitely a Stage 5 Supreme Treasure left behind by a Supreme Being. Damn it! How can these three ants possess the treasures left behind by a Supreme Being? Let's go. With a Supreme Treasure left behind by a Stage 5 Supreme Being, it's impossible for us to kill him. After saying that, the three heroes prepared to escape in horror. Unfortunately, Wang Mang raised his hand and a terrifying and vast power of law swept across the world. A terrifying barrier instantly sealed the world. This also made the faces of the three heroes, who were preparing to escape, turn ugly. In fact, if one were to observe carefully, one would find that the three heroes' eyes were filled with panic. Wang Mang naturally noticed this as well, his expression indifferent as he spoke. "Didn't you all say that you want to break my legs? Come, let me see how capable you are. Do you want to break my legs?" After hearing Wang Mang's mockery, the three heroes of Beijun had ugly expressions on their faces. The leader, Bei Feng, gritted his teeth and said, "If you dare to kill us, the North Arch will not let you off." After hearing Bei Feng's words, the other two geniuses' faces lit up with confidence. "That's right. If you dare to kill us, Big Brother North Arch will not let you off. Although we are not brothers with Big Brother North Arch, we are closer than brothers." Hearing this, Wang Mang was about to speak. Ancestral Gragon frowned and spoke. "Wang Mang, don't waste words with them. Kill them all." After hearing this, Wang Mang was immediately displeased. "I haven't even shown off yet. You want to interrupt me? You're too insensible." Of course, although Wang Mang was unhappy, he didn't show it. In the next moment, under the furious gazes of the three geniuses, Wang Mang's terrifying power of laws surged out as he slowly raised his hand. It was obvious that he was about to make his move. Seeing this, the eyes of Bei Feng, who was leading the group, turned scarlet red as he roared with a savage expression. "How dare you? You're only one heaven above me. I don't believe you can kill me." At the same time, Bei Feng's power of laws surged out, forming a terrifying cauldron of laws in an attempt to block Wang Mang's attack. In the next moment, an earth-shattering sound rang out. Rumble. Boom. Wang Mang's full-powered palm of laws destroyed Bei Feng's cauldron of laws. At the same time, the remaining power of the palm did not diminish as it grabbed Bei Feng and the other two geniuses tightly. After that, Wang Mang's upper body transformed into the body of a giant python. Under the horrified gazes of the three geniuses, he swallowed them into his mouth. The whole process was extremely fast. It was so fast that Bei Feng did not even have time to react. Wang Mang had imprisoned him for a moment. Wang Mang had seized the opportunity to kill him. At this time, the system's voice rang out. "Ding! Congratulations, host! Successfully devoured a fourth heaven god emperor, an unparalleled genius." "Ding! Congratulations, host! Successfully obtained 400 million energy points." "Ding! Congratulations, host! Successfully obtained 2 aptitude points." "Ding! Congratulations, host! Successfully devoured a third heaven god emperor, an unparalleled genius." "Ding! Congratulations, host! Successfully obtained 300 million energy points." Ding! Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained 2 aptitude points. Ding! Congratulations, host. Successfully devoured a second heaven god emperor, an unparalleled genius. Ding! Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained 200 million energy points. Ding! Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained 2 aptitude points. After hearing the system's voice, Wang Mang nodded in satisfaction. Then, Wang Mang's gaze landed on the forest not far away, because Wang Mang could sense that there were many geniuses hiding there. There were at least 70 to 80 of them. Among them, there were only geniuses with peak 8th Heaven God Emperor battle strength. Wang Mang could sense more than 10 of them, but these geniuses did not make a move. They were watching the situation here. In fact, that was the case. They did not expect that Wang Mang's battle strength would soar to the peak of 8th Heaven God Emperor. With such strength, they might have a chance to take him down if they joined forces. The premise was that Wang Mang did not run away. Otherwise, it would be difficult to hunt him down. After all, Wang Mang could not just stand there and let them attack him. However, even if Wang Mang ran away, there were still 2 legendary geniuses who were their prey. Moreover, these were just the lowest level of prey. After all, there were many geniuses present. Just as this group of geniuses started to have ill intentions and were secretly communicating with each other through voice transmission. Suddenly, Wang Mang's expression changed drastically. He raised his head to look at the sky. He saw a terrifying barrier forming in the sky. Then, 6 terrifying auras swept across the area within the barrier. In the next moment, 6 geniuses with peak 9th Heaven God Emperor battle strength appeared in the sky. These 6 geniuses with peak 9th Heaven God Emperor battle strength smiled as they stood proudly in the sky. They looked indifferent as they sized up all the geniuses present as if they were looking at prey and ants. After seeing the 6 geniuses with peak 9th Heaven God Emperor battle strength, all the geniuses present started to panic. Damn it, why is it them? I'm afraid we're doomed this time. If I had known, I wouldn't have participated in this hunt. Hee hee, you still want to hunt? Who's hunting who now? Seems like we've been targeted by the Summit Alliance for a long time. Let's think about how to escape. I feel like I'm in danger of dying this time. That's right. Even if we attack together, we can't defeat the Summit Alliance. This is so exciting. I feel like I've reached the peak of my life. Chapter 8:10. It's impossible for us to escape. Not in this lifetime, unless the Summit Alliance lets us go. Hee hee, you won't have the chance to escape. Do you expect the Summit Alliance to let us go? I think you're thinking too much. Sigh. If I knew this would happen, I wouldn't have come. Wait. If we work together, we still have a chance. Yeah. If we give up, what hope do we have? In an instant, the Sky Pride started discussing. Some want to give up. Some wanted to put up a final struggle. That was because the Summit Alliance was too powerful. They had the fighting power of 6 peak Emperor gods. With such strength, they could head to the 6th city. They might even have a chance to head to the 9th city. One could imagine how powerful their enemies were. With such an alliance, there weren't many among them who could go against it. Similarly, Wang Mang's heart was heavy. He had already made up his mind to escape. With the fighting power of 6 peak Emperor gods, such an alliance was definitely not weaker than the Nightmare Alliance. However, at that moment, Wang Mang suddenly realized that more than 10 pairs of eyes were staring at him. Wang Mang instantly sensed something and turned to look. The gazes that were staring at him were from the Sky Prides with the fighting power of peak Emperor gods. This caused Wang Mang to be taken aback. Why were they staring at him? Just as Wang Mang was guessing, in the next moment, something that shocked Wang Mang happened. The Sky Prides with the strength of peak Emperor gods instantly charged towards him as though they had gone mad. Wang Mang could see the killing intent in their eyes. Seeing this, Wang Mang instantly reacted. They had obviously seen that he had the Supreme Mask. Moreover, they had seen how he had killed the 3 heroes of the North Hero. It was obvious that these guys were planning to team up to suppress him and steal his Supreme Being Mask. After all, Once the Supreme Mask was removed, they would instantly have the fighting power of 4 peak Emperor gods. Not only would they be able to resolve the crisis, but they would also be able to turn the tables. It was a pity that these fellows had made a huge mistake in their calculations. At the same level of combat power, he was a man with a tyrant body. They were completely immune to attacks of the same level, unless they raised their battle power to the 9th heaven of the God Emperor realm. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to cause much harm to Wang Mang. Hence, when he saw over 10 peak God Emperor experts executing their terrifying great divine abilities together, he was shocked. Wang Mang sneered and charged towards a group of peak 8th heavenly layer God Emperors. At the same time, Wang Mang's hands were constantly forming seals, and he executed a top-notch great mystical ability, 10,000 Buddhas slaughter, 3,000 Buddha phantoms condensed under the power of laws. Wang Mang casually waved his hand and attacked the dozen or so peak 8th heavenly layer God Emperors. These fellows wanted to rely on numbers to kill him instantly. It was simply daydreaming. Wang Mang could even say that if he were to fight to the death with these peak 8th heaven God Emperors, he would definitely die. He even had the confidence to kill every single one of them. Unfortunately, Wang Mang's actions were seen as an act of overestimating himself in front of the group of peak God Emperors. Many of the peak God Emperors even sneered, "You overestimate yourself. Do you really think that you can fight against us with the power of a supreme treasure? You're just an ant that relies on external forces to increase your battle power. Millie's light wants to compete with the bright moon? Kill him. Take his supreme treasure, and we can increase our strength to fight against the Pinnacle Alliance. You ant, do you really think that you're a legend? That you're invincible in the same level of combat power?" In the next moment, divine abilities that blotted out the sky and covered the sun swept toward Wang Mang. In fact, Wang Mang's 10,000 Buddhas slaughter, the 3,000 Buddha silhouettes, was directly dispersed by their divine abilities. In the next moment, under the sneering gazes of countless peak 8th heaven God Emperors, an unbelievable scene happened. They saw that Wang Mang had passed through their terrifying divine abilities. What shocked them even more was that their divine abilities did not cause any harm to Wang Mang. This was too King fake, right? Were their eyes playing tricks on them? They were all peak 8th heaven God Emperors. Their divine abilities did not cause any harm to Wang Mang at all. Their joint attack only managed to put them in a slightly difficult position. After that, Wang Mang rushed in front of them and sneered. Following that, he raised his hand and punched out, killing one of the peak 8th heavenly layer God Emperors. Under Wang Mang's punch, the peak 8th heaven God Emperors screamed in pain and flew out, vomiting blood. The other young geniuses at the peak of the 8th sky of the heavenly God realm were all stunned. At the same time, a few peak 8th heaven God Emperors refused to believe it. They chose to fight Wang Mang with their physical strength. In the end, they screamed in pain and were sent flying by Wang Mang. After a few rounds, more than a dozen peak 8th heaven God Emperors were killed. Even the way they looked at Wang Mang changed. They became extremely serious and alert, because they had already seen through it. Wang Mang definitely had the potential to become a legendary peak 8th heaven God Emperor, because they had already guessed it. Wang Mang possessed a top-notch fleshly body divine ability. In other words, Wang Mang did have the ability to kill peak 8th heaven God Emperors. This also made these peak 8th heaven God Emperors realize the reality. It was impossible for them to kill Wang Mang with Lei Ting. Since the hard way did not work, they would use the soft way. Immediately, 7 to 8 peak 8th heaven God Emperors transmitted their voices to Wang Mang. "Why do you have to do this? If you lend us your mask, we will all have peak Emperor God Emperors fighting strength." That's right. If we all have peak low God Emperors fighting strength, we will not be afraid of the Summit Alliance. That's right. If you lend us your mask, we will definitely be able to protect you. Don't hesitate, fellow Taoist. The people from the Summit Alliance are still watching us. Lend us your mask. To put it bluntly, this is a rank 5 supreme treasure left behind by a peak 8th heaven God Emperor. It won't be of much use in your hands. Friend, lend us your mask. After we get through this crisis, we will return it to you. In an instant, these peak 8th Heaven God Emperors transmitted their voices to lend their masks. Of course, many peak 8th Heaven God Emperors had no intention of returning the mask. If not for Wang Mang's peak 8th Heaven God Emperor's fighting strength, they would not have been able to snatch it. Indeed, they couldn't snatch it by force. They had already done so. Looking at the geniuses with peak 8th Heavenly Layer God Emperor battle prowess, their faces were filled with smiles. Wang Mang could not help but sneer in his heart. How could he not know what these peak 8th Heaven God Emperors were planning? They still wanted to borrow his mask and return it to him after getting through this crisis? These peak 8th Heaven God Emperors were obviously insulting his intelligence. Chapter 8:11. Once the mask was lent out, it would be impossible to take it back. Wang Mang did not need a guess. He knew that too. Both parties did not even trust each other. How could they borrow? What made Wang Mang even angrier was that these guys were treating him like a fool. Wang Mang had always been the one borrowing things from others. He had never lent anything to others before. Hence, when he heard these guys' voice transmissions, Wang Mang even directly cursed it out loud. I'll lend you my ancestor. F asterisk CKU old moo. F asterisk CKU. You bastards. How dare you ask me to lend you my things? Do you need me to pee on you to wake you up? When they heard Wang Mang's curses, the geniuses with peak 8 sky God Emperor battle prowess were enraged. They thought Wang Mang might reject them. However, Wang Mang cursed loudly. They did not expect that. In an instant, many of the confused geniuses guessed what was going on. Obviously, those who could become geniuses were not fools. Moreover, which of the geniuses present was not a dragon among men? Hence, they quickly guessed what was going on. Obviously, they guessed that Wang Mang had a treasure that could increase his strength. These fellows suddenly erupted, wanting to kill Wang Mang and obtain the treasures that could increase their strength. That way, they could go against the Summit Alliance. However, they failed. Since the hard way did not work, they resorted to the soft way. At the thought of this, many of the geniuses had different expressions as they discussed softly. At the same time, the geniuses with peak 8th Heavenly Layer God Emperor battle prowess shouted angrily. Do you think you can go against the Summit Alliance with your strength? That's right. Without us, everyone will be doomed. Why don't you lend us your mask and we'll get through this together? The bigger picture is more important. Although we borrowed your item, we didn't say that we won't return it. Besides, it's good for everyone if we defeat the Summit Alliance. Fellow cultivator, please think twice before you act. Without us, you won't be able to escape either. Do you think you can defeat the Summit Alliance? As the group of peak 8th Sky God Emperor geniuses questioned angrily, many of the geniuses' eyes lit up. If they could get through this crisis, they would definitely want to do so. Who would want to die if they could live? Hence, although many of the geniuses knew what was going on, they still started to criticize Wang Mang. Since you can't help us get through this crisis, why don't you lend us your treasure to us? That's right. Don't be so selfish. We've gone through this together, so we'll naturally be grateful to you. Besides, do you think you can stay out of this alone? Give us the treasure. Let's get through this crisis together, and I'll return the treasure to you when the time comes. Why be so calculative? Everyone is like a clay bodhisattva crossing a river. What's wrong with lending out your treasure? Is your treasure, is more important your treasures more than are to us? All of a sudden, the geniuses understood what was going on. They started to criticize Wang Mang. Unknowingly, they started to threaten him. The geniuses with the battle prowess of the peak 8th Heavenly Layer godly God realm smiled when they saw that. This was the effect they wanted. Under the pressure of the situation, this brat should know what's good for him, right? However, in the next moment, they realized that they were thinking too much. Facing the pressure from the group of geniuses, Yi Shiwen didn't care at all. Instead, he sneered. Wang Mang didn't care about it at all. Wang Mang swept his gaze across all the prodigies present. When he saw that there were no hypocrites present, He mocked without restraint. You bunch of dogs. You're not strong, but you talk big. Who gave you the courage to think that your lives are more important than my treasure? Mother asterisk Kerr. You're all ugly, but you're dreaming. Do you think you're worthy of getting through this crisis with me? If the Summit Alliance hadn't appeared, you'd all be my food. Do you understand? Mother asterisk Kerr. You bunch of idiots. Can't you just wait for your death obediently? Hearing Wang Mang's words, all the geniuses' faces stiffened. In an instant, many geniuses were humiliated by Wang Mang. Their faces turned red with anger. Among the geniuses present, even the weakest one was at the fourth sky god emperor realm. Naturally, they had their pride. Now that they were humiliated by Wang Mang, all of them were furious. They glared at Wang Mang. If looks could kill, Wang Mang would have been killed many times over. If it weren't for the fact that they couldn't defeat Wang Mang, they would have attacked long ago. Why would they be wasting their breath here? However, more than 10 geniuses at the 8th Sky God Emperor realm couldn't even kill Wang Mang. What about them? Wang Mang didn't care about the angry faces of the geniuses. Instead, he looked at the Summit Alliance in the sky from time to time. What were these guys trying to do? Why weren't they attacking? Wang Mang was puzzled. Logically speaking, they should have sealed all the geniuses in the space enchantment. They should have attacked long ago. But what were they waiting for? This was what Wang Mang couldn't figure out. Weren't these guys afraid? After the group of 8 Sky Emperor God Realm geniuses killed him, the group of 8 Sky Emperor God Realm geniuses killed him. Would he use his mass to raise his peak Emperor Realm fighting strength to fight against them? Wang Mang wasn't the only one who had this question. Many of the geniuses present had the same question. It was precisely because of this that they were so anxious to persuade Wang Mang to lend them the masks. After all, raising one's strength by 1 sky was much safer than raising one's strength to the 8 Sky God Emperor realm. Unfortunately, Wang Mang didn't listen to them at all. This made their faces extremely gloomy. Moreover, seeing that Wang Mang didn't say anything, these geniuses at the 8 Sky God Emperor realm couldn't sit still anymore. They all looked at Wang Mang with unsightly expressions, asking one after another, "Friend, what do you want in exchange for lending us your treasure?" "Yes. Friend, are you really confident in going against the Summit Alliance? How about this? We swear to the great Tao that we'll return your treasure." You should be relieved, right? That's right. We can swear to the great Tao. Are you still worried? Friend, that's enough. With the great Tao as proof, what else do you have to worry about? That's right. If we embezzle your treasure, we'll be punished by the great Tao. After that, the geniuses with battle prowess at the 8th sky of the Emperor God realm all looked at Wang Mang. In their opinion, they would rather swear to the great Tao. Wang Mang should believe them, right? Unfortunately, when he heard these fellows' solemn vow, he couldn't help but feel disappointed. Wang Mang scolded impatiently. "Are you stupid? If it were you, would you be willing to lend your treasure to me? What makes you think that I'll lend my treasure to you? If you dare to grumble again, I'll kill all of you first." Chapter 8:12. Wang Mang was really annoyed by these guys. They weren't fools. Why would they swear a great Tao oath for him? There were too many loopholes in it. It was simply too many to count. Although the great Tao oath was indeed effective. But if he borrowed it, although he promised to return it. But there was no guarantee when he would return it. Even if he promised to return it immediately, Wang Mang wouldn't agree to their request. He had never thought of lending it to anyone. In this era where the strong were respected, this trust wasn't worth mentioning at all. Moreover, Wang Mang was a typical egoist. To put it bluntly, he only liked to take advantage of others. He would never allow others to take advantage of him. After hearing Wang Mang's words, the group of 8th Heaven Emperor God geniuses' faces darkened to the extreme. But they didn't say anything. They could tell that Wang Mang had never thought of lending it to them. He was the kind of person who would rather die than lend the treasure to others. If Wang Mang wasn't strong enough, they would have suppressed Wang Mang long ago. But they couldn't do anything to Wang Mang at all. At the same time, Ancestral Gragon and Li Qinglian were not far away. They naturally saw the conflict between Wang Mang and the group of geniuses. Ancestral Graygon was slightly relieved that Wang Mang didn't lend a mask. To be honest, if Wang Mang really wanted to lend a mask, he would be the first to disagree. Instead of lending it to others, why couldn't he lend it to Li Qinglian, who was in an alliance with them? At least Li Qinglian was more reliable than these guys. Previously, these people wanted to kill Wang Mang. He also saw it. However, Wang Mang was too strong. At the current stage, it wasn't an exaggeration to say that he was the strongest 8th Heaven Emperor God. This was thanks to Wang Mang's top physical body, great divine ability, which was also a legend. At this moment, not far ahead, Wang Mang suddenly saw dozens of geniuses appear. Wang Mang couldn't help but be stunned when he saw the dozens of prodigies. This was because these dozens of sky prides were not weak either. The majority of them were late-stage god emperors. As for why these geniuses had appeared, Wang Mang guessed that they probably wanted to check out the situation here. There was no need to mention how speechless Wang Mang was. These guys were indeed here to join the fun, but they probably had other ideas as well. However, they were destined to suffer this time. Previously, Wang Mang hadn't been able to guess what the Summit Alliance was thinking. Now, Wang Mang could roughly guess what the Summit Alliance was thinking. As expected, in the next moment, when the dozens of geniuses saw that the situation was not optimistic, they prepared to leave immediately. But it was too late. The geniuses of the Pinnacle Alliance appeared out of nowhere. Once again, they worked together to set up a barrier to seal off this world. Similarly, the dozens of sky prides were also sealed within the enchantment. Fine. Another 50 or so geniuses were in trouble. These fellows were too unlucky. They had even sacrificed themselves to join in the fun. In addition to the other geniuses present, there were already more than 100 of them. Seeing this, the geniuses who were sealed within the enchantment started to panic. On the other hand, the geniuses who were already in trouble started to laugh. They were more or less gloating. Great! Another batch of unlucky fellows has appeared. At least we won't be lonely in death. Ha ha ha. These guys still want to take advantage of us? Serves them right. The Summit Alliance is going to be rich this time. There are more than 100 of us combined. Damn, you guys still have a mood to laugh. You're about to die, and you can still laugh? In an instant, the geniuses were discussing all sorts of things. Wang Mang was speechless when he saw this. These guys were about to die, and they still had the mood to laugh. Of course, although they were in the minority, Wang Mang felt that these guys more or less had some trump cards up their sleeves. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to laugh at this juncture. Similarly, the geniuses who were targeting Wang Mang previously were at the 8th heaven of the Emperor God realm. Wang Mang didn't believe that they didn't have any trump cards up their sleeves. At this moment, Wang Mang suddenly felt a fluctuation in space. Then, Wang Mang abruptly raised his head. He saw a few geniuses who were at the peak of the Emperor God realm from the Summit Alliance. They had already entered the enchantment and were looking at all the geniuses present with murderous intent. At the same time, the geniuses of the Summit Alliance were still discussing with each other. I think it's enough. There are more than 100 of them. It's enough for us to split the spoils. Otherwise, things might change. That's right. It's enough. Otherwise, it'll be hard for us to deal with the other alliances. After discussing for a while, the geniuses of the Summit Alliance reached a consensus. Then, the geniuses of the Summit Alliance revealed a cruel smile. In the next moment, the 6 geniuses who were at the peak of the Emperor God realm from the Summit Alliance swept out. One of the geniuses had his eyes on Wang Mang. He immediately charged towards Wang Mang. Seeing this, Wang Mang's expression changed drastically. Then, Wang Mang decided to make the first move. He immediately formed a seal with both hands and gathered the power of law around him to form a huge sword. He shouted angrily, "Kill!" As soon as he finished speaking, the huge sword formed by Wang Mang swept out and slashed towards the Summit Alliance's genius. Seeing this, the green-robed genius chuckled and said, "You're overestimating yourself." As he spoke, the green-robed genius immediately gathered the power of law and pointed with his finger. Rumble. This ordinary-looking finger seemed to have substance as it smashed into Wang Mang's giant sword. There was an earth-shattering explosion. At the same time, the enormous sword that Wang Mang had condensed was also instantly shattered. This extremely sharp power of law instantly whizzed towards Wang Mang. Wang Mang's expression changed drastically. He hurriedly formed a seal to mobilize the power of law around him. He then formed a seal with both hands and shouted angrily, "Ancient Buddha sitting." Then, the vast power of the law condensed into a black ancient Buddha that looked like it had taken on a physical form. Rumble. The terrifying finger immediately bombarded the ancient Buddha. The terrifying aftershock of the attack caused a loud explosion. Then, it spread out in all directions. Fortunately, Wang Mang heaved a sigh of relief. Although the power of this finger had almost dispersed his Buddha shadow, it was still too powerful. However, it was not destroyed in the end. After Wang Mang gathered the power of law again, the originally incomparably dim Buddha figure once again became solid, firmly enveloping Wang Mang's body. Seeing this, the green-robed genius was slightly surprised. However, at this moment, shrill screams could be heard from afar. The green-robed prodigy and Wang Mang both looked over. They saw that in the space enchantment. These geniuses were like dumplings in a pot. They died in the hands of the Summit Alliance's geniuses. In the blink of an eye, 30 geniuses had already died in the enchantment. This made Wang Mang anxious. He had to think of a way to escape. At this moment, the green-robed genius regained his senses and said indifferently, "Seems like I have to speed up." As he spoke, the green-robed genius formed a seal with both hands. The vast power of law condensed crazily. Seeing this, Wang Mang's expression became even more solemn. The previous battle was just a casual attack from his opponent. Wang Mang could feel it. He was not this guy's opponent at all. The gap between him and a genius with the battle power of a ninth Heaven Emperor God was too big. Therefore, Wang Mang decided to defend himself with all his might. As Wang Mang's hands moved, the power of laws as vast as the ocean gathered around him. Moreover, with the support of Wang Mang's power of law, the ancient Buddha figure he condensed was even more solid. Just as Wang Mang was going all out to defend against the green-robed genius. At this moment, ancestral Gragon's terrified cry for help suddenly came from afar. "Wang Mang, save me." That you're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.